months, 232 days. It's a long time to long for anything. To contemplate what was and anticipate what will be. But now, the yearning is over. Tradition is back. The roar is back. Performance is back. The spectacle is back. SEC football is back.
This is War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas, and this is SEC opening night. The Razorbacks of Arkansas welcome us to our 85th season of Southeastern Conference football. It's year number 5 of the Brett Bielema era, and they are in their home away from home in the center of the state with all the promise and the excitement of a brand new season just moments away from getting started. And with that, we're underway. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers will be joined by Cole Kubelik down on the field. It kind of feels like Christmas morning. Every record is perfect. Every goal is still attainable. And we're ready to bring you SEC football every Saturday night. We just couldn't wait to get started, so we decided to go on a Thursday.
You think I was playing a game. I'm ready to get out there right now. Finally, these teams get to line up against someone with a different colored jersey. And us three are soon to be the 3 best friends that anybody could have.
It's going to be like a season-long road trip. That's maybe what it felt like for Arkansas last year. A season full of promise, just a couple of quarters away from 9 wins, but melting late. And Austin Allen, their quarterback, had what could be described as a great season. According to some numbers, others need drastic improvement. How does he get there?
Well, his first year as a starter, he demonstrated big playability, pushing the ball downfield, accuracy at all 3 levels of the defense, and really an uncanny ability to be poised under pressure. The thing that steps out or that points out is the 15 interceptions. That's something that you got to cut down as a quarterback. First year starter, everything's going a little bit faster. Your fundamentals are going to suffer. Here you see his hips and his feet downfield. He's trying to push the ball to the outside. Base equals balance. Balance equals accuracy. You see him leave it inside. That's a turnover that can be prevented. As well as a quarterback, you start to learn how to use your eyes. When you're a first-year starter, that's probably the last thing on your mind. You're trying to figure out where your receivers are going. Right here, you see he stares down the outside dig. The underneath linebacker is able to undercut that and make a big play on the opposite direction.
So defense expected at the quarterback position, improvement expected there, and it's necessary on defense. So what did Brett Bielema do? He changed things up. Paul Rhodes is a new defensive coordinator. They're going to be running a 3-4 this season. And for more on that and what that means, let's go down to the field as we say good evening, Cole Kubelik.
Tom, I thought we already were the 3 best friends, but I'm excited to see this new 3-4 defense under Paul Rhodes tonight. They finished 126 in the nation in yards per carry allowed a season ago, over 6 yards per carry. There are some pieces that could make this defense exactly what Paul Rhodes wants it to be. Bijan Jackson, a prototypical SEC nose guard. Randy Ramsey could be an elite edge guy, has all the skills to be able to do it. The pieces are there. Can they put it together? It starts tonight.
All right, Cole, thanks. Meanwhile, on the other side for FAMU, they got a head start on this season. A big win with 400 yards of offense last week against Texas Southern. The starter then was Ryan Stanley. There's some question as to whether or not he'll go tonight, suffering a left ankle injury, but they've got a couple different guys who can run that offense.
Yeah, they love Stanley, what he did at the end of the season. He's 5-3 as a starter, including that win last week. You're going to see Vincent Jeffries at some point, whether Stanley is healthy or not. Stanley's ability to push the ball and be accurate at questionable sometimes. Vincent Jeffries, as mobile, can move with his feet, but also a little more accurate, pushing the ball downfield and underneath. They got to be able to protect the ball if they're going to compete with Arkansas today.
Well, the head coach of the Rattlers of FAMU is no stranger to Arkansas fans. He was a former coach under Houston Nutt on this staff. Alex Wood, 31 career wins in 7 seasons as a collegiate head coach. Meanwhile, on the other side, Brett Bielema. In year number 5 at Wisconsin, he took the Badgers to the first of 3 straight Rose Bowls. Can he take Arkansas to something special and spectacular this season? We will find out. So Arkansas gets an early start on this year. They used to play a lot of games here in Little Rock at War Memorial. Now down to one a season. Home away from home and much closer to the fans of Central, Southern, and Eastern Arkansas. FAMU will kick it away. Arkansas won the toss, and the Razorbacks have elected to receive. Briston Guidry is back to receive for Arkansas. Taken at the 4. And a little bit of room out to the 20 from Deion Stewart. So the Allen name continues here at Arkansas. Austin Allen in his second season as a starter. Back-to-back state championships at Fayetteville High School. He was on the field for the Cotton Bowl, and his dad was the defensive coordinator, along with his brother Brandon, playing tonight for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so it's all in the family once again for these Razorbacks. FAMU, by the way, is wearing illegal jerseys tonight, and so that's a call from our White Hat. This is an SEC crew. They will be charged with a timeout each and every quarter. The numbers of the jerseys must be contrast in color to the rest of the jersey. That's not the case for FAMU, and they don't have other jerseys with them. For a long bus ride from Tallahassee. Lee Hedrick is our referee tonight, and he just made that announcement to the crowd. So they're going to lose 3 timeouts tonight, once a quarter.
But, Tom, you got to look good to play good, right? I don't think they're worried. I mean, maybe they're worried a little bit about the timeouts, but not much room in that bus, I imagine, packing all those guys on that 10-hour ride.
Yeah, 10-hour bus ride from Tallahassee. It saves them about $60,000. That'll go towards their summer school books. Devois Whaley and Tyler Phillips in the I formation for Arkansas. They bring Petway in motion, and Austin Allen. First snap will go to Whaley. He's got plenty of room right up the middle, and a gain of 11 on first down.
And this is what we want to see Arkansas get back to. The physical play up front. You got 4 returning offensive linemen, obviously anchored by Frank Ragnow, the center. Brett Bielema says he may be one of the best that he's ever coached. They got to get back to that bruising, physical style of football that Brett Bielema is used to be the balanced Arkansas offense that they want to be this year.
27th consecutive start for the Minnesota native Frank Ragnow. Allen on play action, looking near side. That one's complete to LaMichael Petway. Here's a look at FAMU defensively.
Well, defensively, Tom, FAMU is going to have to do something to take away their run. That's one thing the coaches made adamant. They got to make Arkansas one-dimensional. They're going to try to stack the box, take away the run. That's why you're going to see those hitches as Austin Allen just hit open with free access on the outside.
FAMU had a fantastic defensive game last week against Texas Southern. Didn't allow him past midfield till late in the second half. Whaley gets bottled up on the right side, and that's going to leave 3rd and short for the Razorbacks. David Richardson, a third-year sophomore, in on the tackle.
Something to keep an eye on. The right side of this offensive line been a little bit in flux. Ty Clary just this week was kind of thrust into a starting position by Brett Bielema. Said he wanted to push him and see what he's made of. You're going to see a revolving door on the right side of this offensive line. Johnny Gibson, Ty Clary, Brian Wallace, really trying to figure out the right combination to complement a very solid left side of the offensive line.
Hogs converted 40% of their third downs last season. Out of the eye again. Whaley hit behind the line. And FAMU's going to force a punt on the Razorbacks' first possession. It's Elijah Jones, the redshirt freshman from Boynton, Florida, coming up with a big stop.
Not the way Arkansas wanted to start this game. 3rd and short should be bread and butter. You see a missed block there by Colton Jackson. Let his guy stick inside and really was blown up from that point on. Not able to even muster really just over a yard there. Disappointing start there for Arkansas.
Blake Johnson will punt it away. Kareem Smith waits to return it. He is very dangerous for FAMU. He also is a guy that likes to gamble. He'll ask for a fair catch and takes it just on this side of the 25-yard line. So Ryan Stanley got the start at quarterback last week for FAMU. They rolled up 400 yards of offense against Texas Southern, and he's been fantastic taking care of the football in his brief career, second year as a starter. But they're going to bring out Vincent Jeffries instead, and that means that ankle injury for Stanley a little bit worse than some feared. He was in a walking boot for a good chunk of this week. Jeffries is a well-traveled senior, originally from Garner, North Carolina. Started his college career at Shaw College, then Santa Rosa Junior College. He is 36-7 as a starter all time. He was 29-2 as a starter in high school. Out of the pistol with Devin Bowers behind him, and they want to throw on first down. Pass complete behind the line of scrimmage, and Brandon Norwood picks up 1. The Rattlers have some guys on the perimeter that are of concern to Paul Rhodes in this Arkansas defense.
Obviously, Brandon Norwood caught a touchdown last week. Other guys to keep an eye on, Kareem Smith and Chavis Murphy. Chavis Murphy on the outside, a 6'6", big physical target. As soon as they get in the red zone, better believe they're going to try a 50-50 ball with him at some point today.
They go play action again and a little crossing route. And a positive play for Desmond Nord, fifth-year senior out of the Atlanta area. And that'll bring up third down for FAMU. Here's how Arkansas lines it up defensively. Paul Rhodes, the former Iowa State head coach, is now the defensive coordinator, his second year on the staff.
Paul Rhodes said this is a defense without stars, but a couple guys to keep an eye on. McTelvin, Agim, Bijan Jackson, obviously Dre Greenlaw in there as well. Going to be stars in this defense if the 3-4 pans out the way they believe it will.
They show blitz. Watch number 10, Ramsey, at the bottom of your screen. Here he comes. Time to step up. Ramsey got to him, and he's able to take down Jeffries in the backfield. It's a loss of 6. He blew right through Devin Bowers.
Randy Ramsey is a guy that these defensive coaches have been hesitant to be excited about. He has all the intangibles, all the tools. He's capable of providing as much power as he needs to, even being a little smaller of a frame guy, just under 230. But that is just talent right there. It sees the running back's going to cut him. That's something these D linemen work on all the time, shedding off the cut block and continuing to pursue the quarterback. It's a great start for number 10, Ramsey.
Chris Fadul to punt it away. The kicking game has suffered early this season for FAMU. Andre Tolliver won't get a chance for a return, and a solid punt that time for Fadul. Covers 45 yards. Arkansas bringing the pressure out of the 3-4. They've got their first sack of the season. It belongs to Randy Ramsey. Well, there's no question Arkansas center Frank Ragnow is an elite player. He hasn't allowed a sack in 3 seasons. It's more than 2,100 snaps. But Jordan, this might be a bit of an emotional game for the Arkansas senior.
Absolutely. First time returning to War Memorial Stadium here, not even a year ago, after a victory here at War Memorial Stadium. His father passed away. A very, very close relationship with his father. Even called him a best friend at times, a guy that would text him all the time. Passed away just hours after watching Ragnow in this very stadium. The tidal wave of emotion cannot be underestimated early here for Ragnow.
So playing without his father John, watching, and a pass to the perimeter with Jonathan Nance. Let's check in with Cole.
You guys know what I think about Frank Ragnow. He's earned the C on that jersey as a captain of this football team. His responsibility ramps up a little bit more tonight. Jordan mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Ty Clary getting the start at right guard. A young man that's a gray shirt. He's not even on scholarship yet, and he's starting next to Frank Ragnow. Going to help out with the signals and the calls a little bit, I'm sure. Just make sure those assignments are shored up before each snap.
Well, so far so good for the Arkansas offensive line. Second possession of the season. Out of the eye again on 2nd and 4. They'll play action. Allen dumps it off. He finds his tight end, Austin Cantrell. And one of the best blocking tight ends in college football picks up 5 and a first down.
Absolutely one of the best blocking tight ends. Also catches the ball very well. And if there's one thing that you can hang your hat on with the Dan Enos offense, is that maybe better than any team in the country, the run game marries up with the pass game. You will see boots. You will see nakeds. That was a naked there. A great job by Austin Allen, feeling the pressure from the cornerback on the backside and delivering an accurate ball quickly out of his hands to get the first down.
They'll keep it on the ground with Whaley, and he finds the outside. Beautiful vision to take it into FAMU territory inside the 45. A gain of 16 for the sophomore from Beaumont, Texas.
Another big block up the middle by Frank Ragnow, leading the way for Devwah Whaley. One thing about Whaley, when you watch him, doesn't jump off the screen with his speed or athleticism. Very proficient and talented. Has an innate ability to get skinny through the hole, as you see there, elude a defender and then plow the hole right behind Ragnow, obviously lead blocking.
It's an opportunity for Whaley that they weren't sure he was going to have. Wally Williams was their starter the last couple of years. 12 touchdowns last season, but in practice number 15 of the spring, Wally Williams had retired. He was shut down after another neck injury. So an opportunity for Deborah Whaley. We'll see David Williams back there and a couple of freshmen, including Chase Hayden and Malik Williams. Cole? Second and 10 now. David Williams, a transfer from South Carolina, gets his first opportunity. Allen looking to throw. Pressured again, and Williams bobbles but can't haul it in. Terry Jefferson there to break it up for the Rattlers.
Big part of Arkansas's offense is the screen game. They rep this in practice to nauseam. The timing, the rhythm, it's an art when you talk about releasing linemen at the exact moment. That one right there had big play ability. Austin Allen just wasn't able to get the ball up and over, drop it in for an accurate pass to David Williams there. But something you'll continue to see, the screen game is very proficient and something that Enos is going to continue to come back to, whether it's outside with the receivers or off the play action with the running back.
Third season as the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach under Brett Bielema. Play clock winding down. Allen out of the shotgun. Pressure coming again. Pocket collapses as he's hit from behind, and he's picked off by Terry Jefferson, who has been all over the field for FAMU here early in this game.
And Tom, we talked about it in the open. Something that Austin Allen has to cut back on is these late decisions. You see him step up in the pocket a few times, hanging on that route. That's one thing Enos mentioned, is that most of these interceptions don't come early. They come late in the progressions. You see Colton Jackson there just not hanging on that block long enough. Austin Allen forcing to throw with pressure on his backside. Something we got to clean up. And my quarterback coach, Tom, always told me, don't make a bad play worse. It's a bad play, take a sack there, throw it in the dirt, find your check down. You have to have an answer, something that Bielema and Enos both preached on. That development of Austin Allen here, having an answer for those times where the pocket breaks down and the coverage is there so you don't have those turnovers.
113th in FBS with 15 interceptions thrown last season was Austin Allen. Vincent Jeffries getting his first start at quarterback for FAMU. Came off the bench in the third quarter last week against Texas Southern. And our SEC crew. Lee Hedricker's our white hat, first-year referee here in the SEC. Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator for Arkansas. Give to Devin Bowers, and he's able to pick up 3 on first down. He had 44 yards and a touchdown last week against Texas Southern.
When evaluating this 3-4 scheme, what Paul Rhodes is looking for is those big guys up front. Agim, Jackson, TJ Smith, the alignment and the strength of those guys to hold off the double team blocks, allow their linebackers to be free roaming, plug the gaps, allow them to make the tackle. So something to keep an eye on up front, the pressure they're generating and the ability to keep double teams off.
And they're without their left guard right now. Obinna Nwankwo just had to leave the game for a play after his helmet came off. Little reverse and a chance to pass. Great defense. Kareem Smith was tracked down by Dejon Harris. Scuda, they call him, out of Harvey, Louisiana, with a big-time play.
Scuda's a guy that Paul Rhodes lights up when you talk about his athletic ability. Great decision here by the receiver, not throwing that one downfield, as I talked about earlier, not making a bad play worse.
Your quarterback coach is smart. Did you listen to him?
Half the time.
Third down now for FAMU. Ramsey got a sack on the near side. Last time he's at the top of the screen on the line for Arkansas. Play clock winding out. They just get it off. And incomplete as Jeffries misfires trying to find Brandon Norwood. Ryan Poley had the coverage. So the Rattlers unable to do anything with their takeaway after the Austin Allen pick. And Chris Fadul will punt it away to Andre Tolliver. Oliver will take a fair catch at the 35-yard line. It's another opportunity for Austin Allen, trying to clean his game up after an interception last time out for the Hogs.
SEC Opening Night is brought to you by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
As the River Rail electric streetcar line take you from Little Rock to North Little Rock. See how we're getting home tonight, partner. Can you call ahead?
Looks fun to me.
Midway through the first quarter, SEC Opening Night. And Arkansas trying to improve on a 7-6 record last year. Black Friday for Brett Bielema was just about as miserable as a holiday could get, and then came New Year's Day. 2 second-half meltdowns against Missouri and Virginia Tech, and the season ended on a sour note for these Razorbacks. Chase Hayden, the freshman in the game, and here he is, first carry, and he's able to rip off 8 on first down. Frank Ragnow leading the way for the freshman out of Memphis.
Having a ton of success right now running behind Ragnow. This is a big drive for Arkansas. Not the way you want to start a game. Ragnow and Allen both thrust into leadership roles this offseason after the bowl game. They got to rally the troops right now. This has to be a change in mentality. Have to put together a drive.
They go with a jet sweep for Deion Stewart. Made the first and second men miss. Third and fourth were right there to gobble him up. Only one that time for Stewart, the sophomore from down in Hardy, Arkansas.
Stewart's a guy that's really benefited from the absence of Jared Cornelius. Really leading the team in receptions outside of Cornelius returning this year. A guy that Allen started to target more and more in camp. And then you can see the athleticism. He was a return guy. They're going to get the ball in his hands however possible. Huge third down here. Offensive line has to win this one. It will be a run. They got to get a yard here to keep this drive moving.
Tyler Phillips is in at fullback. To the left side, a little bit of room to pop through, and then Dever Whaley gets put on his back after a gain of 4. Whaley had a big game here last year here in Little Rock against Alcorn State. Went for $135 on just 9 carries. Here he picks up a key first.
Unbalanced there, had a couple extra defenders, offensive linemen and a tight end outside. Florida A&M not able to shift their defensive line over. They've been giving them problems with that gap exchange. See if Arkansas continues to go more and more unbalanced, getting guys in numbers on the outside.
They shift to the eye this time and play action for Allen. Incomplete, trying to fit it to Deion Stewart. Pretty good coverage in the back end by Orlando McKinley, junior out of Westlake High School in Atlanta. They'll leave a 2nd and 10. Talking about Austin Allen and the desire to improve, to cut down on the 15 interceptions from last year. How much improvement can you realistically expect between a junior and senior season?
I think you can expect to see a ton. It's only relative to the amount of game experience you actually have.
He'll hand it off on 2nd down. Whaley gets cut down. His 2nd year as a starter for Austin Allen, who grew up in the game. His brother Brandon in a preseason game for the Jaguars tonight in Atlanta. Is that when you made your biggest strides as a quarterback?
Similar to Austin Allen, I didn't play at all either until my junior season. So your junior year, or whether it's your freshman year, your first year starting, everything moves a little bit faster. I would like to see Austin Allen get in rhythm here. You can tell he's not Enos. I would like to see him dial up some short passes, something on the perimeter to get him back in the game, get him comfortable.
Jared Cornelius is in the game at wide receiver. Allen looking for him over the middle all day to go through his progressions, and a nice spin move. Stays on his feet, and he'll chuck it complete for a first down to Austin Cantrell. Little ad-lib there, and it's an 11-yard gain and a first down.
This is the creativity, the moxie, the poise under pressure. I love to see the playmaking ability of Allen here. Great job not forcing a throw as you see him step up in the pocket. And this is all Allen right here. This is all backyard football, be able to keep his eyes downfield and find Cantrell.
Okay, that's all fine and good tonight against FAMU, but I don't think Dan Enos wants him doing that next week against TCU.
No, and that's one of the things he's going to have to start to get to quicker in his progression, finding the outlet. Get it to the tight end or simply throw it away.
Here's the freshman Chase Hayden again, and Hayden looks really good after a couple of carries tonight. That one goes for 9.
Chase Hayden's a guy that every coach that we talked to this week raved about. A true freshman, just got here in the summer, former basketball player. Bielema put it very simply, he's got an ability to create, make nothing out of something, something out of nothing. However you say it, he's got that ability, earn the right to get on the field. They'll find ways to get him the ball. They got a stable of backs here that I think they're really comfortable with.
His dad, Aaron, played in the SEC for Tennessee, then 4 seasons in the NFL. He had him studying film early, way back when he was playing flag football. Chase Hayden was a student of the game. His 3rd carry of the night. It's another great one. Hayden, with happy feet, dances his way all the way down to the 11-yard line. A gain of 13 for the freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, Chase Hayden.
We can see the explosiveness, jumps off the screen. Chase Hayden grew up, wanted to be a basketball player, probably could have played in college. Interesting story his father tells. They were on an AAU trip. They hopped into a hog heaven, found a life-size poster of Darren McFadden at the time playing for Arkansas. Hayden put that on his wall for his entire childhood, and it was his growth marker. Little did you know it someday he'd be putting this uniform on as a running back for Arkansas.
Well, you can check the line right at 5'10" for Hayden on that growth chart now. A former Arkansas great. Kind of following those McFadden footsteps, and after averaging 10 yards a carry in his first 3, Emilio Gibbs brings Hayden down at the line of scrimmage. What do you think overall of Arkansas's offense here in this first quarter?
Understandable. You know, in these games, you hate to say it, but they probably weren't mentally prepared as they were. It's a game that you try not to look over, but most of the time you probably do. Sometimes it takes a half a quarter to get back in rhythm, get comfortable. We're seeing here them putting a drive together like we thought they would earlier.
Devwa Whaley back in the game at tailback for the Hogs. Play action. Allen looking end zone, comes back near side. And that one's complete to Deion Stewart. And a pickup of 6. What do you make of his progressions tonight?
Well, you see, things aren't there as early as he wants it to be. So we are really testing the deficiency that was so noticeable last year with Arsenal, the ability to find the outlet, step up in the pocket. Here's one thing that is promising, though. Devwa Whaley picking up a one-on-one block on the outside. Maybe got away with a little arms around the edge there, but something they really struggled in last year was picking up blocks from the running back position. Good to see that there.
10th play of the drive. Arkansas looking at a 3rd and 4. Whaley, he's in. Arkansas's first touchdown of the season comes from Devwa Whaley.
It's the guy they're going to depend a lot on this year, Devwa Whaley. And really they're going to depend even more on those guys right in front of him. And what we talked about earlier, the right side of that offensive line was the one paving the way for that touchdown run for number 21, Devwa Whaley.
You know, Brett Bielema likes that grinded out drive, 11 plays and 64 yards. Cole Hedlund with the point after. And Arkansas is able to capitalize thanks to Austin Allen's efficiency. He was 2 for 3 on the drive. Hayden and Whaley carrying the load for the Hogs on the ground. We got a full day of action coming your way on the SEC Network. Dave Steckel. Steck is back in Como, the former defensive coordinator under Gary Pinkel, to take on Mizzou. Season opener for Old Field. Mississippi State and the Nick Fitzgerald era continue. They'll be in Stark Vegas against Charleston Southern. We will make our way to the Plains for Georgia Southern. That vaunted triple option attack against Jared Stidham and number 12 Auburn. All 3 games can also be seen streaming live on the ESPN app. Football season's here, partner. Orlando McKinley back to receive for FAMU from the 7. A little bit of room. And we've got a couple flags on the play.
There's a flag on the play.
SEC officiating crew tonight. Lee Hedrick, our referee in his first game as a referee. Opening night for Lee Hedrick. Here's a look at the last drive for Arkansas.
And when your defensive line is giving you games, you simplify. Lead, ISO, kick out that A-gap. And Kendrick Jackson, the 253-pound junior, is blowing holes. You saw them run that 3 or 4 times on that drive to finish it off. So also notice a little bit the offensive line, Cole. Their splits are a little tighter.
I noticed that on that drive, Jordan. Really, that's the first drive that I noticed it on. You watched this team a year ago, 10-inch, 12-inch splits. They're down to about 3-4 inch splits in between the center and 2 guards. So trying to tighten things up in the middle of that Arkansas offensive line.
Well, FAMU's got to tighten it up as well. Additional penalty on Elijah Casey on that return, unsportsmanlike conduct. One more of those and he'll have to leave the game early. So that backs up the Rattlers from his own end zone. Jeffries hands it off, and they will rip off an 8-yard run from Kevin Newman on his first carry of the night.
Something to keep an eye on here. This is Paul Rhodes this week preaching on playing outside in. FAMU runs the outside zone very, very well. They got to be able to bundle everything inside and stop that run.
Here's Ricky Henryless, and he gets bottled up by Scooter Harris out of Louisiana, gain of 1. We're talking with Paul Rhodes about that, just that idea within the 3-4, outside in versus inside out, and that's a bit of change and something that you and Cole, as former players, would be curious about, especially defensively.
Yeah, because you have to have first and foremost the bodies, then the alignment as well to play outside in. You have the bodies of Agim, TJ Smith on the outside. We saw them give up a little bit. That's one thing about the three down front, Tom. You got some big holes there to sneak through in short yardage.
We also have a big guy in Bijan Jackson at that nose position, 6'1", 339 senior. To the perimeter, bobbled in great hands for a reception. It'll only be 3 yards, but Chap Hunter, redshirt freshman, able to pick it up. And FAMU sees the quarter come to an end. They'll be looking at a second down when we return to Little Rock. SEC opening night in Little Rock, Arkansas, as the Razorbacks welcome FAMU to town here at War Memorial Stadium. An early interception got the Rattlers some momentum, but then Arkansas turned to its ground game. Devwall Whaley has the first touchdown of the season for the Hogs. A team that they want in Brett Bielema's mold. Strong offensive line and great running backs. What do you have with 3 straight Rose Bowls at Wisconsin? Arkansas dominating most of the important stats. The one interception, the lone blip on the screen. Great penetration up front. Ball came loose, but it ended up right into the hands of the quarterback, Vincent Jeffries. It's a loss of 2. Could have been much worse for the Rattlers.
One that I think he thought about pulling for a second. Something gave Arkansas trouble last year. Zone read, mobile quarterbacks. Might have been a pull read, but either way, this 3-4 scale. I didn't notice that. That's something you don't coach, Tom. Take that one to the ground. Most of the time, that doesn't bounce your direction.
I thought live it popped out when he got hit. Jeffries will roll out, and he leaves it short. Well, why not? I mean, you've been sitting on the bus for 10 hours. You've been anxious to really get things going. You get an SEC opponent. Let's make something happen, huh?
I mean, yeah, maybe on the other 20. Not backed up on your own 20, though. That one's going to get picked up and walked in for 6 the other way.
First start for Vincent Jeffries at quarterback. Ryan Stanley, their starter from last week in the second half of last season, out with a left ankle injury. They'll run a personal protector on late. Play clock will be at least 5, if not below. Andre Tolliver waits to return for Arkansas. Not a good one. Rattlers will get a roll out of it, and that'll take it to midfield. 33-yard punt. Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, the SEC Nation Traveling pregame roadshow is back to kick off the season, and they got some special guests. Steve Spurrier, the head ball coach, is going to be there. Les Miles was in studio tonight. He'll be out there as well. You can join them at Lot 3 outside AT&T Stadium on Saturday morning live from Arlington, Texas. Some news and notes. BYU and LSU moved from Houston to New Orleans due to the flooding from Hurricane Harvey. Byproduct is a quasi-home game for the Tigers. Meanwhile, Florida will be without 10 players, including a couple of key offensive playmakers, as they take on Jim Harbaugh's Michigan team. Allen, complete to Jared Cornelius, who was out most of the fall and a good chunk of the spring. It was a back injury that limited Cornelius throughout fall camp. We saw him on the practice field a couple of days ago. Brett Bielema says we're going to take the cautionary route. If he is even a little bit doubtful, we're not going to play him.
Great to see him out there. The guy that returns that Austin Allen has the most chemistry with. And good to see Austin Allen get a quick completion early, get back in a rhythm.
David Williams is in at tailback. And Williams, trying to be patient, finally dives over the line and picks up 1. Williams transferred in from South Carolina, but for a good chunk of the summer, he was committed to UConn. Committed to the Huskies in January when he announced he was going to transfer away from Will Muschamp's program, and spent 3 months intending on joining the Huskies. A graduate transfer spot opened up at Arkansas. Scott Pagano, the Clemson defensive tackle, former Clemson defensive tackle, instead of joining the Razorbacks, instead went to Oregon, and the game of free agency kept spinning. David Williams ends up a hog. 3rd and 3. Quick hitter on the slant and off the hands of LaMichael Petway. We're going to talk a little bit about Austin Allen's footwork over the course of tonight and how that might play a hand in him getting the ball out a little bit quicker. That one was just off the mark.
Yeah, Austin Allen got to be more accurate with that ball. You're a fifth-year senior. I know it's your second-year starting. Got to be accurate there. But in the gun especially, we're going to notice here, we'll show you a few times, different intricacy with the footwork that they're using now, implemented just this summer or this fall for the first time.
Blake Johnson will punt it away. Kareem Smith gambled on a couple punt returns last week against Texas Southern. He'll bail on this one, and it is caught inside the 1, and that's when it will be spotted. It turns into a 42-yard punt. Tremendous effort from Kevin Richardson II to get down there, and special teams play looks really good for the Razorbacks early. Richardson is a starting nickelback. That looked like a pick. He shares it with his friends. Great punt. Thousands affected by Hurricane Harvey urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today by going to redcross.org/ESPN or call 1-855-999-GIVE. Disney is doing its part, a $1 million donation, designating today as a day of giving across Disney, ABC, including our ABC network affiliates, Freeform, Radio Disney, and ESPN. FAMU backed up, and they'll get a little bit of breathing room by turning to the ground game, and a pickup of 8 yards for Ricky Henryless. But a great game against Texas Southern last week. By the way, Texas Southern, based in Houston, one of those programs affected by Hurricane Harvey. Their game this week has been postponed.
Henryless used to be a wide receiver. They decided they want to get him the ball more. Great to see Josh Liddell, number 28, in there. Paul Rhodes been getting his secondary to be more physical.
On 2nd and 1, FAMU will get a fresh set of downs. Henryless again. Both of their key tailbacks, Henryless and Devin Bowers, came in as wide receivers. And this is an offense that Marty Spieler, their offensive coordinator, and head coach Alex Wood, they want it to be run of course, of high efficiency, but also high rate. They ran 80 plays last week against Texas Southern. The goal is 95 plays a game. And talking with the coaches this week, they said, no, it's a little bit different against Arkansas. We might slow play it a little bit. They don't want to get into a track meet. That's obvious. FAMU will take it across the left side. For more on why they're going that direction, here's Cole.
Khalil Harris, 62 guard for Florida A&M. Tom's a guy that sticks out on film. He's a technician. He's got great feet, fundamentally sound, uses his hands well. 6'2", 240. 240 pounds. And he's out here manning up some of these SEC defensive linemen. Got to give props to the left guard today.
11 starts last year, both guard and center for Harris. On 2nd and 9, Jeffries on the run. And a falling grab made by Chavis Murphy. Gain of 3 for Chavis.
It's another thing Cole just mentioned, a 40-pound guard. You don't see that in the SEC much, which is why they utilize that athleticism, get zoned to the outside, get them on the move, and then you see them moving the pocket with the quarterback as well, getting outside the pocket, getting out of the way of all those big boys on the other side. Big third down here. See what front Arkansas gets into. They're in their normal 3 down. They've been going 4 down on third downs previously.
They'll only rush 3, and they'll get to the quarterback. Vincent Jeffries wanted to run it out of there. McTelvin Agim had the stop for a loss of 2.
Normal 3 down front there, but great pressure. Agim is a guy that's going to move all over the field, and he actually twisted from the far opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Speed, power, strength. They're going to move him all over the field. He's going to be a star, even though Paul Rhodes said they don't have any yet.
Tolliver back for another opportunity for a return. He stands at midfield. Arkansas should end up with great field position tonight. After this one, it's a beauty of a kick from hang time perspective. And we'll check up just shy of midfield. It's a 7-0 lead for Arkansas after that 32-yard punt. They're already in Rattler territory.
SEC Opening Night is brought to you by Pilot Flying J, the official travel center fueling the SEC.
In the capital city of the natural state, Arkansas playing its lone home game in Little Rock this season. And the Razorbacks have a 7-0 lead on FAMU. Austin Allen, second-year starter and a captain for Arkansas, struggled a little bit tonight.
Yeah, still waiting for him to get in rhythm. And the thing we talked about in the open, staring down receivers and making a bad play worse. It starts with your feet. Look here. Throwing way open. His left foot is pointed at the goalpost. He's throwing a hitch to the outside, or excuse me, a slant. Accuracy issues, eye issues, got to get him in rhythm.
Chase Hayden is in at running back, and he rips off another big one. Hayden taken down just outside of the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 17.
That big playability jumping off the screen. Early in this game, Chase Hayden, the freshman, true freshman, playing his way in. Great block on the outside. Ragnow coming around, getting in the action.
One of the questions coming into this season for Arkansas, could they have enough success running the football? Were their stable of running backs going to be good enough to be productive? Was the offensive line going to be improved enough? Little nice move by Hayden again. And we won't answer all of those questions tonight against FAMU's defense, but if they're going to have an inconsistent play from the quarterback position, are they not going to need almost perfect play from the ground game?
Absolutely, and I don't think it's as much an issue with the running backs as it is with what's in front of him. Got juniors at both guards. Yelda Froholt's a guy that wasn't even playing offensive line a couple years ago until last year. He's improving. They got to have consistency up front in order to set the tone in the run game and protect Austin Allen.
Second down and 8, and play action. Allen, deep out, a little bit of contact, and there comes the flag. He was trying to find Jonathan Nance, and Orlando McKinley got there a beat early.
Austin Allen's pass intended for Jonathan Nance, incomplete.
pass interference. On the defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Automatic first down for Arkansas after the pass interference. They've shuffled their offensive line here again on this possession. Ty Clary is in at right guard. Gibson moves to right tackle.
Trying to get Austin Allen to be consistent. This is the guy he's got to be watching. He's going to have his speedster, Jordan Jones, on the outside with a post. That should have been the throw. Watch that high-low on the safety. Got the outside post. Jordan Jones, elite speed. Possibly missed one on the back end there.
Nance, a junior college transfer. Devwah Whaley in at tailback for Arkansas. And they're able to penetrate. Terry Jefferson came in from his safety spot. It's a loss of a couple. Second down, 12 now. You were looking early in this game for some easy short to intermediate throws for Austin Allen for him to find a rhythm. They haven't really gone to them.
They're getting a little more press on the outside. FAMU playing a little closer than they were earlier. That's why you saw the shot here. They have some room at the top of your screen here. Let's see if they exploit it.
Here comes pressure. Whaley picks it up. Fire, end zone, touchdown, Arkansas. Deion Stewart. A 16-yard strike from Allen.
An issue from last year that we continue to harp on is the running backs in protection. That's a reason Austin Allen's jersey had way too many grass stains on it. We're seeing the running back step up big tonight in protection. Another huge block there to allow Austin Allen to find the open receiver. Really on his third read there. Came all the way across the field.
A 4-play, 48-yard drive. Stewart came in with only 2 catches to his name. Some inexperience on the perimeter for Arkansas, but Stewart has his first career touchdown, and Arkansas has a 2-touchdown lead. Devwah Whaley picks up the blitzing backer, and Allen able to fire one to the end zone to put the Hogs up 2 scores.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
Well, Arkansas is able to take a 2-touchdown lead thanks to the pass from Austin Allen to Deion Stewart, but they had to do it in the face of pressure. And we'll walk you through that after the Hogs kick it away. This is an offensive line which allowed 35 sacks last year. They returned 4 starters, but they're brand new at left tackle with Colton Jackson, and Yeldon Froholt at left guard in his second season as a starter and a former defensive lineman. And that's where the pressure came. Orlando McKinney won't have a chance for a return. Here's the strike and the protection from Allen.
Florida A&M is a 4-down team. Right here, this nose guard should alert Allen that there is something up. Originally, the line is sliding this way. He thinks he has it covered, but really the pressure is going to come from up top, which is picked up by the running back, and Jackson has to slide over to pick up one more. But really what we're going to see is Austin Allen being Austin Allen. The moxie, the poise under pressure. You'd like it to get completely picked up. That's something we got to see. But the throw under pressure is a thing of beauty. Like to see him see that before the snap. A lot of things can tip you off. This is a 4-down team. There are 3 down there. You think something's up. That's something that he'll continue to get better at.
How much time do you have to identify it and then communicate it?
Tom, you got as much time as you need, right? You can look at that play clock. If you need a few minutes, slide the protection or throw hot. A lot of things you can do to get yourself out of that situation.
FAMU on first down runs it behind Ricky Henryless. The redshirt freshman picks up 3.
Or hey, stare down the barrel and strike a TD right in the face of 2 guys. I mean, that's what we love about Austin Allen. But these things, you have to be better and more consistent at, or you're never going to compete week in and week out in the SEC.
And then you thank Devwah Whaley once you get to the sideline. 2nd and 7. Ryan Stanley getting the start at quarterback for the Rattlers. 1-0 on the season after an opening win against Texas Southern. That came behind quarterback Ryan Stanley, who has not seen the field tonight for FAMU. And they'll be looking at a 3rd and short after another carry by Henryless. Wayne Eugene Jr. in with the stop for Arkansas. A touchdown and a pick tonight for Austin Allen. 3rd and 1. And we'll see where it's spotted. Maybe just an inch or two short. It was Henryless again, and they'll be looking at a 4th and inches. Twice last week against Texas Southern on 3rd and 1, FAMU threw the ball. Now they're going to bring the punt team in. Paul Rhodes, for the most part, is going to lead his defense on the field and try to guard against a fake. They'll put Tolliver back to return. But otherwise, this is not a punt return team. Chris Fadul, the punter. And we've got flags down.
Delay of game on the kicking team, number 43. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So that'll back them up, and they'll try it again. Head coach Alex Wood, former Iowa running back. A couple of Iowa graduates leading their team tonight. Wood on one side, Brett Bielema on the other. The freshman Fadul averaged 36 yards a punt last week. Tolliver with a fair catch, got it at his shoulder pads. 34-yard punt for Fadul. Beautiful Little Rock, Arkansas, illuminated using thousands of LEDs. It's almost as dazzling as Jordan's hair.
All right, coming up on the Regions Bank halftime reports. We'll talk about this game first half. Quick thoughts.
I think they forgot the emphasis was to protect Austin Allen this year.
Yeah, already you can see that on that interception especially, a little bit of confusion at the left tackle spot.
More coming up at half. Back to Tom and Jordan.
All right, Peter, thanks. You guys look great in studio tonight, by the way. Nice to add a stench every time you can. First and 10 for Austin Allen. And he will fire to the perimeter. Catch is made by Jordan Jones, a freshman from down in Smackover, Arkansas. Gain of 8. You ever been to Smackover? We might take a road trip there tonight. A couple of superstars have come out of Smackover.
Sounds like what I want to do to you when you say something dumb next to me.
I'll go sleep you.
Smack over the head.
You're allowed 2 a night.
I got 2 to go.
2nd and 2 now. The great Clyde Scott, College Football Hall of Famer, played at the Naval Academy and played at Arkansas, is from Smackover. First down carry for Devwall Whaley. It's a pickup of 7.
With their ISO run, Tom, they're really finding success in the A-gap. Simplifying things. The D-line was giving them trouble early, stunting with twists. Run right at the A-gap, kick out that 1 and 3 technique. You have a fullback, let him lead. If you don't, push it onto the linebackers.
Little jet sweep action. Jordan Jones again. And he gets taken down out of bounds. Let's take a look at Cole Kublik.
Yelda Froholt is a guy that I think can be an exceptional offensive lineman in this league, Tom. But one thing we need to know about him, switch from defensive line. Didn't play a down of offense in high school. Now, as a D lineman, you're down a 3-point stance a lot of times. Your feet are staggered. You're coming off the ball like a sprinter. It's more about the hips than it is the feet. I'm not worried about the offensive line. Good there. I'm bulky enough to handle him. Offensive line, you have to keep a wide base. In pass pro, your feet have to follow each other. In the run game, keep a wide base, or else you're going to tump over, lean over, and lose your balance, as you saw right there. I kept my balance when the ref ran into me. I had the wide base. Froholt's learning that. He should turn into an excellent SEC offensive lineman if that comes around this year.
Cole, let me tell you, Michael Williams, the side judge, just gave you the side eye.
We're good.
I think you might have to give him
I'm not
pat
sure
on the back and half.
I'm not sure what I'm more surprised at, that Cole just took a hit from the referee, or that his pants didn't rip getting down in that three-point stance.
Down here next to him, guy. He's got some bulk. It could be a challenge for him. I'm not going to lie. The knees are not healthy.
1st and 10 now for Arkansas. And Whaley picks up 5. They'll leave 3rd down now for the Razorbacks. Pardon me, 2nd down. Touchdown run from Devwall Whaley to open the scoring, and then Austin Allen with a 16-yard touchdown pass. Two to 3 run to pass ratio. They want to be a balanced offense at the end of the day. Everybody says that. Allen on the bootleg. Great hands by Cheyenne O'Grady. Credit the gloves. Perhaps it's a gain of 9.
Tom, another 3 down front. They decided to move the pocket this time. Good job by Austin Allen. Just taking what the defense gives him. I'd like to be a little more accurate, but he had the tight end crossing from the other side. That would have been a tough throw. Instead, he just takes the 1st down. That's savvy by a senior quarterback.
A couple of Fayetteville High School products hook up there. Cheyenne, formerly known as CJ, said, I want a fresh start. We're going to go with a name that's on the birth certificate. David Williams. Plenty of room on the left side. Williams to the 10. And he gets tripped up after a gain of 12. Hayden Johnson created some space for him at fullback.
Hey, speaking of a fresh start, a guy that was humbled as a transfer, just wants to be on the field. He's going to make an impact this year for the Arkansas, whether it's in protection or whether it's breaking off runs like that. A very capable, athletic, and physical back to add to this stable.
Yeah, great opportunity for him. He was in Will Muschamp's doghouse for a while there in South Carolina after starting early in the season last year. As a graduate transfer, it's a new opportunity. 1st and goal for the Hogs. Here's Williams again, following everybody on that left side, including Hayden Johnson, a product of Columbia, Missouri. Pickup of 3.
This is the pace that Brett Bielema wants. Wants to slow things down, control the line of scrimmage, power, gap control.
And speaking of that, we talk about Tyler Phillips, Hayden Johnson, Cantrell O'Grady. We've seen Jeremy Patton. They use the tight end and the fullback, or that H-back, as well as anybody.
And a great adjustment. They're using leverage now. They're motioning tight ends from one side to the other to create an advantage in numbers for the run game.
Johnson picks up the first guy, and Williams will walk in off of his hip. It's a 4-yard touchdown run for David Williams.
And right back to that ISO run up the A-gap. It's the bread and butter. Why get away from it now? It's got to feel good for a transfer. Underappreciated, looking for a home.
5 touchdowns at South Carolina, and he gets his first as a Razorback.
Boy, that's got to feel good.
Cole Hedlund to attempt the point after. Couple of long drives for Arkansas. That one 9 plays and 63 yards. How about the play of the fullback? Hayden Johnson, number 32. Clearing the path for David Williams. It's a new season. We got a new show for you. Greg McElroy and Marcus Spears debut their SEC Network football talk show, Thinking Out Loud. That's Monday at 7 Eastern. Also available streaming live on the ESPN app. I don't know if we're going to get those two to actually share their opinion. That might be a challenge.
God, I can't wait for that show. I was in the studios the other day looking at the set. That's going to be a no-holds bar. I mean, you got Marcus Spears and McElroy. They both are right about everything.
Here's my early prediction. Marcus is going to outdress Greg every night of the season.
Is that even a question?
No. Orlando McKinley back for the Rattlers. And he will not bring this one out. They had a safety on a kickoff return last week. Minute 21 left in the second quarter here in Little Rock. Coming up at the half, you can watch the live performance of the Razorback Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. So Arkansas, first 2 possessions went punt, pick. Since then, they've scored on 3 of their last 4 possessions. What's been different for them?
Well, they got into a rhythm. They also adjusted. You notice the run game early wasn't working, so they started going, motioning tight ends, creating unbalanced formations, creating numbers to the side they wanted to run to. And as well, they noticed, hey, we can just run it right up the gut, get simple, lead block, A gap, got back to the bread and butter running the ball.
Quick hit to the outside, and that's complete for 4. Brandon Norwood with the catch. Mentioned this earlier, but Ryan Stanley is not in action tonight for FAMU. We've got an injured Razorback down. It's Ryan Pulley. So Vincent Jeffries getting the start at quarterback, and that has left Sunshine Ryan Stanley on the headset. He was in a walking boot over the course of this week. A bit of a change-up for FAMU.
He's a guy they were excited about. Went 4-3 down the stretch last year as a starter. Won the opener. Coach Wood opened up competition because he wanted to put a fire under Stanley. He wanted to push him a little bit. Just so happens he's a little banged up. And, you know, I've been impressed with Vincent Jeffries tonight. His accuracy throwing the football. Still waiting for them to take advantage of the height on the outside and take a shot.
Stanley was their 2nd leading rusher last season. Taking a long look at Ryan Pulley, the junior from Fort Myers, Florida. Only allowed 1 touchdown last year, with 63 passes coming his way. And so he'll be replaced by freshman Cameron Curl.
Looks like he just overextended his right arm there. Hopefully he's okay. Ton of talent. Guy that can really project to the NFL. 1 of 63 passes in his direction last year resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah, that is an impressive number.
Also 2nd in the SEC in passes defended.
Change of quarterback for FAMU. Well, Taj Tolbert, who's their 3rd-string quarterback, actually is now in at tailback. And they go play action. Jeffries to take off. Can't find the blocking, and he's taken down by DeJohn Harris. And a timeout used by Arkansas to try to get the ball back with under a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter.
That is their first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So we'll have a 30-second timeout here. See if the Hogs can get another score here before the end of the half. It's already a 3-touchdown lead. The offense seems to have hit the stride. They've scored on 3 of their last 4 possessions after a punt and a pick to get this thing going. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers with Cole Kublik. We'll be here every Saturday night during the SEC season. What do you make of what Arkansas's offense has done on the last 4 possessions?
A little slow start, understandable. Sometimes the first game, there's some emotion, some nerves to get out. You saw the adjustments in the run game, though. The balance, the blocking by the tight end, motioning from one side to the other, creating an outbalance of numbers, and also getting back to bruising football, which is running right up the A-gap with a lead fullback. That's the type of football and really the identity that Brett Bielema wants.
FAMU comes out of the timeout looking at a 3rd and 3. And they'll go play action. Jeffries chased out of bounds by Randy Ramsey. You know, you think as a whole about Austin Allen's night, especially within the scope of what he did last year with the 15 interceptions, and he comes out on their 2nd possession and throw a pick. And you feel for him, number one, but also I'm curious from a mental standpoint. He's waited all offseason to put the interceptions behind him, then he throws one on their 2nd possession.
Yeah, not the way you want to start it, but honestly, maybe the best thing that can happen. Because another thing that coaches, Dan Enos especially, is wanting him to do is have a short memory. These plays are going to happen. Now, can we fix things? Can we coach off it? Yes. Can you bounce back? We've seen him do that.
Andre Tolliver hasn't had a chance for a return, but he's been out there more than a few times. This will be a line drive, and he wants a fair catch and fights it at the 32-yard line. 35-yard punt that time. So 42 seconds. What do you expect out of Allen and the offense here? Take a couple deep shots?
I don't know if I'd say a deep shot. I think you want to start with a quick completion, see if you can get a chunk of yards after the catch, and that'll dictate what the pace is going to be and if you're going to have time. 42 seconds, 2 timeouts. I know it doesn't sound like it, but that's plenty of time to get down into field goal range. I see a quick completion to see if you can break off 10 or 15 yards, and then they might push the pace.
Cole Hedlund is their place kicker. So out of the shotgun, Allen looking and looking. They get a hand on him and bring him down. David Richardson, who was in on a couple of sacks last week against Texas Southern, takes down Allen for a loss of 4.
That should dictate it right there. They're going to let this one probably end up going to half. Got to get rid of the ball here. You can only ask your offensive lineman to block for so long. That's the maturation of a quarterback in his second year, learning when to toss it in the sands.
So that's how the first half will come to a close. Arkansas runs 38 plays, and they find 3 touchdowns out of it. 210 yards of offense in the first half for Austin Allen and Brett Bielema's Razorbacks. Our score is 21-0 at the half in Little Rock. Let's take it to the studio. Peter Burns, Matt Stinchcomb, and Chris Doran.
All right, welcome into the Regions Bank Halftime Report. Peter Burns, Matt Stinchcomb, and Chris Doring. Yes, some good, some bad. 21-0. Remember last year, 14-14 against Louisiana Tech. So a little bit better there. What do we take that was good from the Hogs in the first half?
Well, they got something going finally on offense. Yeah. I mean, it was a slow start, and we were talking about what we were going to talk about at halftime, and that was about the struggles of this Arkansas offense. And all of a sudden, they scored on, 3 of the last 4 drives, or that last one not counting. And I thought they finally got some rhythm offensively. So it looked like the offense that we wanted to see, where they're getting back to running the football like they have previously under Bielema in the past.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, the drumbeat of the offense became the rushing attack. And it took a little while for it to get going. Early on, you could see a lot of penetration in the offensive backfield. They were having some difficulty with the rundown pressures and some movement that the FAMU defensive front was utilizing. But once Devwah Whaley got going a little bit, you could see he's not just a power runner. He's a guy that can jump cut. He can get loose. He can evade tacklers. Obviously made it into the end zone. Ultimately, that was the difference. They had a 9-play drive, 63 yards for a touchdown.
More importantly,
2 of those
an
were passes.
Arkansas Razorback drive, right?
That's what it looks like.
We found like that's the way that Danny Enos was like, hey, no matter this, a lot of passing, we're just going to run the ball. That's what we do. Chase Hayden, 6 carries, 49 yards. Everyone was asking who was going to carry the weight after Devwah Whaley. That young man showed off.
Got in there early. We knew that he was one of those guys that's going to grow into his role. It makes a lot of sense to get him some meaningful snaps early in this game. I think he's really acquitted himself well as a ball carrier and could be that complementary piece that they're looking for.
Yeah, conversely, the thing that I'm worried about, and it's the thing that Greg McElroy in the preview show told us we didn't have to worry about at all, and that's Austin Allen. You know, I think today so far his numbers look good, but has not been decisive with his throws, has held the ball a little too long.
We saw that sack right before
halftime. Made a play here in this instance with his athletic ability, but really has not been in rhythm. Made a poor throw earlier, poor decision on the interception he threw here. Hung in there, wait for his guy to uncover, but there has to be a clock in the quarterback's head. You hear it all the time. You got to get rid of the football if you're not making a play down the field. Throw the ball away. You can't take a sack. This was an offensive line that gave up a bunch of sacks last year, but tonight so far you can't put a ton of it on the offensive line.
By the way, congrats to Devwah Whaley picking up that blitz.
Right, they did a great job.
A great job there, and you saw Austin Allen step up just enough. Yeah. Overall, what's being said at halftime? What's Brett talking to those guys about?
Well, I think part of it he's going to say is that we just need to settle down. And there in the second quarter, offensively, we got back to what we wanted to do in this ball game. Now, obviously, there's going to be some growing pains in this passing attack. I think we saw that in Austin Allen. Wasn't very decisive with the football, but part of that is that he's got a new cast of characters running routes out there. Jared Cornelius is limited. He's got the 1 reception in the first half. The offensive front, I might be a little bit of a carryover from a season ago where how comfortable is your quarterback? You got to have your passer comfortable in that game, knowing that he can trust the protection, but also know he can trust his receivers and where he's going with the football. That rapport is not going to happen overnight. A lot of new faces out there in the route tree.
You know, I think on the other side of the ball, we haven't talked much about the defense, and that's the thing we were looking forward to seeing tonight the most, this new 3-4 that Paul Rhodes has rolled out there. I know this is a Florida A&M offensive unit that's overmatched, but they've looked good. They look like they've known where they're supposed to be, where they've been assignment strong for the most part. Ramsey got after the quarterback one time for a sack there, and that's a guy that we talked about being a player to emerge that was lost in the 4-3 that now can utilize his skill sets in the 3-4.
Paul Rhodes needed those guys to step up. Only 49 yards allowed by the to the Rattlers in that first half. One thing we got to look at too: 0 penalties. That was a clean sheet outside of the turnover in the red zone, which no one likes. 0 penalties for Arkansas, very important. The only penalty that we had probably was on Cole Kubelik. Let's go ahead and take another look at that one.
It's like.
There's Cole.
He's got his wrong foot back.
Of course, he was in the offensive line and getting there.
Look at the stare down, though.
Look at that.
He held the stare.
Ref got swole.
Walked up on him.
Yeah, he bowed up on Cole a little bit, right? Until he saw the flag on his mic. Oh, he's an ESPN guy. Okay.
Yeah, it's just.
You know, they talk about coaches. That's an emphasis for the officials this year is coaches' sideline control.
Sure.
Does that include sideline reporters? I don't know.
You did that in the Georgia spring game, right, where you were part of the referee?
Yes.
You have a new respect for these
guys?
guys?
I have an all-new respect for those guys. I was the line judge, and I was worried about getting guys lined up, making sure people weren't offside. Somebody asked me after the game, how'd Georgia look? I have no idea. All I saw was the receivers, the corners, and the tight end and D end.
Yeah, the line judges, those guys. Those are the guys that always say you jump off sides, the edges on the holding calls. Yeah. None of them have ever really gotten it right, including Chris.
All right. Cole Kubelik was a big member of that first half. Besides getting bumped up by the ref, he talked to Coach Brett Bielema.
Coach Bielema, new scheme on defense. How did you feel they played in the first half?
I like it. I think they're communicating well. They've given us a few wrinkles, obviously, to change the quarterback, so our guys adjusted that. I think our defense playing well. Offensively, especially on third down, we got to wake up. Guys got to make plays. Some routine. It's not just dropping a pass on third down. It's changing a possession. So some good learning moments.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff there from Coach. There is the Arkansas Razorback Marching Band. You want to go take a look at that? SEC Network Plus, cool thing that we do each and every game all season long for all the games here on the SEC Network. All right, we got a lot more coming up on the Regions Bank halftime report. Devois Whaley, part of Arkansas's 21-0 lead over Florida A&M. We'll talk big picture SEC opening weekend when we return on the halftime report.
You're watching the Regions Bank halftime report. Welcome back to the Regions Bank halftime report.
Oh, Tusk getting after it. SEC teams getting after it this weekend, and we're here at the SEC halftime report between Arkansas and Florida A&M, but a lot of big games coming up. Talking about Florida State and Alabama. You ready for that one, Stinch?
I am ready for it, man.
Yeah.
I think all of college football is ready for this matchup. Perhaps a precursor of what we'll see in the national title game. Two of the top programs in the country, tons of 5 stars all over the football field.
Michigan and Florida, and probably what remains of Florida's squad. 10 players suspended as of right now, Crystal?
10 players that will miss the ball game, 2 of which are the most important for Florida's offense. Obviously, with Callaway and Scarlett being out, you got to find a way to replace that production. But on the other side of the ball, Michigan lost a lot of players from last year, too. What will these 2 teams look like when they roll it out there on Saturday?
Another game coming up. Not in the original location, was going to be played in Houston, but because of Hurricane Harvey, that LSU game has been moved to the Superdome against BYU.
Much anticipated debut of Matt Canada's offense, and what will this LSU offense and team really in general look like? Darius Geis in the backfield, Danny Etling at quarterback, and the passing offense that has been vacant for the past couple of years.
BYU's got a stout defense. They were good against the run, top 10 defense against the run last year. I think this could be a challenge for this LSU offense running the football.
Hey, listen, a lot of people thought LSU was going to go into Lambeau last year and kind of embarrass Wisconsin.
Good point, yeah.
That did not happen. Overall, when you look at this whole slate of games this weekend, maybe not even those top 3, is there something that you're really circling and can't wait to watch, Stinch?
Well, I think coming out of this week is what's the perception going to be of the SEC? Because people are already talking about, maybe has the ACC eclipsed the SEC with recent success? A national title for Clemson. I think there's a very real chance when you look at like a Michigan-Florida game. Will the Big Ten have a victory over the SEC? The ACC looks like they have a good shot at coming away with 2, maybe even 3 victories from the SEC in week 1. how will the conference look after 1 week into the season, and especially in the college football playoff perception, how will its ultimate champion be perceived if some of these other conferences come out unscathed with a champion that's undefeated?
One of those games that you mentioned, I think I'm most interested in, that's maybe off the radar a little bit, that Texas A&M UCLA game. Because
big game, huge
game, but we have so many different impressions of what Texas A&M can be. Some people think they're going to be great. Some people think it's going to be a dumpster fire out there. But I think this is a game that clearly can state and create some momentum for what this team's going to be like going into the rest of the schedule.
I've got to be honest with you, I didn't expect a dumpster fire reference here at the halftime report.
Somebody said that.
How about Georgia App State? Georgia App State is very intriguing. Your former team, because App State, these boys can play.
Yeah, Jalen Moore, the Offensive Player of the Year in the Sun Belt Conference a season ago. Taylor Lamb, a dangerous quarterback. It's one of those teams in App State. It's a proud program. They're very competitive in the Sun Belt Conference. And if Georgia comes out there and plays in the way that they did a season ago versus an FCS opponent, Nichols, if you look past teams like App State and you let them linger, they'll start to believe that they should win the ball game. Georgia can't afford to have that happen. That defense needs to be dominant early. The offense needs to assert itself. And if it doesn't, you've got enough components on the other sideline in App State where those Mountaineers might mess around and they think that they've got a chance to win that game. That's the last thing you ever want in an opener when you have a team that you're expected to beat.
And we see it every year. It happens every year within this conference where a team hangs around and ultimately either has a chance to win in the end or like last year we talked about Mississippi State losing their opener.
Let's talk about your former team real quick. Florida, 10 players suspended. Now Felipe Franks named as a starting quarterback. What's happening in Gainesville? What's the mindset going to be against Wolverines?
I think the timeliness of this most recent announcement was unfortunate. I think it took the wind out of some of the sails in terms of preparation this week. But I do believe that, again, you lose two players that are important to this offense at running back and at receiver, two positions that Florida actually has some depth and some talent there. I think if you lose those guys in the secondary or the linebacker positions, it makes much bigger impact. But I believe that they'll have some guys step up. Tyree Cleveland's a guy I think could have a big game on Saturday against Michigan.
The pressure on the Florida defense just ratcheted up again.
Yep.
And we've seen it already the past couple of seasons where the entire program and its success has hinged on a dominant defense. They've already got new faces. It's a rebuilt linebacking core. It's not as deep on the defensive line, the defensive backfield as well. They've hemorrhaged a ton of talent. And Randy Shannon, as the new defensive coordinator, the onus is now on him and his unit to try to prop up an offense that has had to try to reconfigure itself yet again, this time on a game week. That's a tall order for a guy like that.
Bonus things to look forward to, quarterback play here in this conference. We see Jared Stidham. We're going to see Shea Patterson and also Nick Fitzgerald, see what he's able to do. So it leads us to a very big day coming up on Saturday. Man, it feels good to be talking about football again. Missouri State, Missouri, presented by Allstate, kicks off at noon. Then those Bulldogs taking on Charleston Southern at 4. And then the nightcap, Jared Stidham and the Auburn Tigers take on Georgia Southern and SEC Saturday night. SEC Thursday night belongs to Mr. Austin Allen so far. 9 of 13, 75 yards, and this great patient touchdown. Part of one of the reasons why Razorbacks are up 21-0 against Florida A&M at half.
Did you ever dream of the possibility of winning the Heisman someday?
I really did. I never thought I'd even be a candidate for it.
What was your emotion when they first told you?
Couldn't believe it, you know. I had so many things going against me. You know, we was 8-3, and I didn't know if they'd pick an 8-3 team, you know, to even win it, but we won it, you know, all because it was a team effort, and all the credit should go to the offensive linemen who worked so hard.
I didn't know what the Heisman Trophy, you know, meant or nothing like that, but you know, it was a team thing to me. You know, it's always a team award. I'm just a small town boy from Duluth, Georgia, country boy. That right there is for the guys that I played with. Those guys made me look good.
Boy, he looked good. King George, our newest SEC story, premieres Tuesday, September the 5th at 9 p.m. right here in the SEC ESPN Network. And talking about legends, how cool is this? Arkansas Razorback Marching Band, Frank Boyles, former head coach, athletic director, not just a legend for Arkansas football, but just the entire sport of college football. All right, gentlemen, second half getting ready to kick off, 21-0 right now. What's something you want to see from the Hogs to impress you in this second half?
Come out strong in the third quarter and then be able to get into your depth chart a little bit more. Get some second-string guys in there and start being able to evaluate it in real time. But you got to play strong in the third quarter.
I'd like to see some more production from the receivers. You mentioned it earlier in the show here. Not a lot of guys that have some experience coming into this season, so they need to develop some weapons for Austin Allen to feel comfortable with.
21-0 right now. Right after this game, keep it locked and loaded here. We'll have Brad Bielema's press conference and everything right here, SEC Network. All right, you got the Hogs 21-0 over Florida A&M. You can see some more from Devwa Whaley and Chase Hayden. Second half coming up after a quick break.
This is the Regions Bank Halftime Report.
Arkansas's first touchdown of the season. Touchdown, Arkansas! First half of the opener is in the books as we get ready for the second. It's Arkansas with a 21-0 lead over Florida A&M. Brett Bielema didn't seem too pleased with his line play and a couple of offensive mistakes. Austin Allen, his fifth-year senior quarterback, with a pick, didn't score. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. This Arkansas offense for years under Brett Bielema has been predicated on the run game. That's looked a lot better tonight.
Yeah, you saw them make adjustments they needed involving the tight ends, the fullbacks, and the ISO game. Running behind Frank Ragnow and those junior guards that they have. What it worries me is the offensive line. Not in the run game, because I think they look solid, but picking up blitzes, seeing the alignment of fronts. Austin Allen's getting hit too many times for me. My comfort zone right now. The offensive line's got to be more consistent.
Well, that was a common theme last year for Allen. What wasn't a common theme? Great running game, and in the first half, a trio of backs have led the way.
Devwa Whaley getting off to a big start behind this offensive line. And Jackson and Johnson, the fullbacks, getting involved as well. Love their plan on the offensive run game so far.
No chance for a return for FAMU. Let's go back down to the field and check in with Cole Kubelik.
Thomas spoke to Alex Wood, Florida A&M head football coach. He said special teams were a big issue. Obviously, Miss hit a couple of kicks. They need to clean that up. He said offensively, Vincent Jeffries will be the guy at quarterback. I'm going to try to loosen up the pocket, do a few things differently, and stay creative to give him more opportunities to move the football.
All right, Cole, thanks. They like his experience coming into the game, but he couldn't get that ground game going very well, but efficient, 5 of 7 through the air for 17 yards. Talking with Alex Wood this week. He really harped on Jeffries' experience. Now, Jeffries didn't play last week until it was a 22-0 game, and in the third quarter, he told us Stanley's our guy. We may have two guys who can play, but Stanley is our guy, so it's obviously an injury issue keeping Stanley out of the game tonight.
Yeah, you alluded to the fact that they had packages for Jeffries to come in. Really his strength, get him outside the pocket, get him out of the way of all those D linemen so he can open up his vision. Another timeout, I think.
Yeah, if you join us yet, FAMU is wearing illegal jerseys tonight. The numbers must be in contrasting color to the rest of the jersey, so they will lose a timeout at the beginning of every quarter. I don't want to pick on them. I mean, they're not happy they made this mistake. That wasn't an issue in their orange jerseys last week. But how do you get to this point where you even have those jerseys made when they're illegal? It's not a brand new rule. You don't get surprised by it. But it's enforced tonight by this SEC crew.
Hey, fashion wins every single time. Look good, play good. I don't think they care.
Cost them 3 timeouts. They might. Oh. And that one's incomplete. Stanley trying to get it to Chavis Murphy.
Jeffries has been accurate in the passing game with the short throws. That's what you want to do against a 3-4 defense. You want to try to out-leverage those outside linebackers, make them play the flat so eventually you can run up inside of them. Been accurate, just didn't have a grip on the ball there. See if they continue to try to move the pocket with this a little bit lighter O-line. Give Jeffries a clear vision to his receivers.
Jeffries on 2nd and 10, gets pressured and drops. Dwayne Eugene with a loss of 10.
That right there just looked like a blown protection. Running back should have picked up the end here. His eyes are inside. That guy you're running past is coming after your quarterback. Sliding to the opposite side. Just a miss by the running back there.
Eugene got a lot of snaps late in the season. when Dre Greenlaw was hurt. Out of the pistol on 3rd and 20 now.
Notice here, Tom, you got 2 rush-ins and a 4 down front. But they're liking to do that on 3rd down.
Able to dump it out to the running back. Ball's loose, scooped up by the Hogs, and they get a defensive score. Andre Tolliver, the senior, takes it in from 17 yards out.
Might put a smile on Bielema's face there.
Harris Supre is the running back who is injured. He's also the one who fumbled the football. And Tolliver able to take it to pay dirt. Officially an 18-yard return. FAMU athletic training staff led by Akima Dina. Taking a look at his right shoulder.
You mean alignment-wise, or?
The touchdown stands. During the play, we have sideline interference, contact with sideline personnel. That is unsportsmanlike contact. Charge to the team. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Hans Supre, the sophomore out of Coral Gables, Florida, will be helped off the field.
Had a setup screen there. The second tackler coming in and putting his helmet right on the ball. That's what you teach on defense.
That's
coming in late. Go after that ball.
Gabe Richardson is finding more playing time tonight, able to force the fumble. Andre Tolliver able to take it away. And they're going to take Hans into the visiting locker room here at Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. Cole Headland to attempt the point after. Arkansas's defense comes up with a scoop and score. 1 minute and 3 seconds into the second half. Forced fumble and Tolliver in the right place at the right time. Hogs up 28-0.
ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
Arkansas kicking off here in the 3rd quarter after a fumble return touchdown. It's a 28-0 lead for the Razorbacks over the Rattlers from Florida A&M. Connor Limpert, left-footed kicker, sophomore from Allen, Texas, will kick it away. Orlando McKinley back for FAMU. And McKinley picked up one that looked like it was going out of bounds. And he will get swallowed up on the kick return, made it out to the 15, and got erased in a hurry by Ryder Lucas. Now 680 miles from Little Rock is Tallahassee, Florida, and the Rattlers covered that distance via the bus. 10-hour trip from Tallahassee to Little Rock, past the time with plenty of leg room, I might add. 4 different buses made the trip. They're able to do it with a $750,000 payday to save some travel costs. The difference between flying and driving was about $60,000, and that difference will help pay for their books during summer school.
$60,000 and some sore legs and backs.
How about you? Must have had some bus rides in JUCO.
Oh, I had a 10-hour drive in JUCO down to the national championship game. We didn't feel great. We didn't have 4 buses either. We had 2.
They will be flying to their 3 conference road games. School started just this week at FAMU. Arkansas's defense coming up with a big stop on Ricky Henryless. It's a loss of 1. Talking with some folks around the FAMU program, I said, listen, 10 hours in the bus, it sounds kind of scary, but it was a great bonding moment. Saw guys, well, many of them were sleeping, obviously, but card games going on, folks watching movies, spending time on your computer, and can't help but bond. And Coach said, we're going to stop a few times on our way there, get out, stretch our legs, spend some more time together. I'm disappointed they didn't bring the band. Couldn't we have added one more bus to bring the band? Henryless again. Santos Ramirez chased him out of bounds. They have high expectations for their safety, Santos Ramirez, a junior from Shreveport.
As a junior captain, that's kind of untraditional at Arkansas outside of the quarterback position. Santos, a guy that actually, Coach wants him to be more of a tackler, not as much as a hitter. Always been physical, but teaching more of wrapping up so he can be more consistent. At one point in the spring, was second on the depth chart. Attached himself to the new coaches on this defensive staff. Was a film rat. Found himself back in the starting role and playing a big role on Paul Rhodes' defense this year.
FAMU 1 for 8 on third down tonight. 4-man rush. They're able to get to him. And they take down Vincent Jeffries. Jake Hall, the junior from Springdale. It's a loss of 4.
This is the pressure that Arkansas is trying to generate on the outside. Jake Hall doing his job. He's running through the tackle there. But these are the type of bodies they're starting to get for those DNs. 260, nearly 270. Jake Hall able to be a run stopper and rush the passer there. Crucial to the 3-4 scheme that they're switching over to.
Third sack of the night for the Razorbacks. Low kick. It'll take a Rattler bounce and carry into Razorback territory. 43-yarder that time from Fadul. So Austin Allen making some changes that may seem subtle in this fall camp, thanks to some former Razorback quarterbacks that came back.
Yeah, nothing subtle when it comes to a quarterback, and switching the front foot in your shotgun progression. Here's what it allows you to do. It allows you to be a little more in rhythm, but more importantly, as a right-handed quarterback, you throw it with your right foot back, so it helps out a lot in the quick game. Allen's able to get the ball out of his hands quicker because his right foot is already there, doesn't have to move it. I talked to him before the game. He said the transition wasn't bad. Took a few days, but he loves that he's more in rhythm now. He can get the ball out quicker from the shotgun.
Looking for that slant. It was covered, so Austin Allen will take off and slide. You look back to some of the great quarterbacks in the NFL. Some do it, some don't. It's not a prerequisite, but Tom Brady picked it up after your big brother Aaron Rodgers started doing it. Eli Manning goes right foot back. It's kind of sweeping through the league.
Yeah, and it's a trend that as the shotgun becomes more and more prevalent, the ability of the quarterback to get the ball out of your hands quicker is paramount. And when you talk about quarterback in a second year like Austin Allen is, you can start to work on eliminating some of the wasted motion and inefficiencies, which Enos has done here with his quarterbacks just starting this fall, making that transition.
It came when Brandon Allen and Ryan Mallett came back to town to work out with the team. Here's Chase Hayden, the freshman, having a big night. And they kind of sold Austin and the staff on it. I don't know, when you were explaining it yesterday, it just seems so simple. Why would you, as a right-hander, take the snap with your right foot back?
Well, it's different than you do under center. As a righty, you always have your left foot back, but obviously operating under center and in the gunner are very, very different. Here's the thing. There's no perfect way to play quarterback. Everybody does it a little bit different. If you can justify it and you can find value, then you do it, and that's what Austin Allen's done here.
Fresh set of downs for Arkansas. The freshman Hayden at tailback. And they'll go play action here. Good coverage downfield. Allen tried to force it and nearly threw a pick. Let me go back to one thing you just said, though. So under center, your left foot's going to be back. Just walk us through why that is.
Well, as a right-handed quarterback, you got to take a big first step with your right foot. And even more importantly, especially with Arkansas in the run game when you're pulling guards, double teams, those big offensive linemen step on your feet sometimes. So that left foot gives you about a half a yard distance that you already start when you get the ball in your hands. Then you move your right foot, gives you a little buffer so those big old clunky O-line feet like Cole has down there don't trip you up.
Cole's trying to trip people tonight. Here's a quick release. They get it to the outside, and Jonathan Nance inside the 30. Cole, what size shoes you wear?
13s, and I thought I proved my balance earlier in the broadcast when I took a short forearm shiver from the referee on the sideline and stayed on my feet there, J-Raj. I had my left foot back, that's why I stayed up.
There you go.
We're going line dancing later, boys. First down for Arkansas out of the eye with Tyler Phillips in at fullback and Chase Hayden at tailback. Hayden having a great night, averaging 8 yards a carry. Hayden cut back, shakes a dude to pick up a first down. It's a gain of 13.
Boy, for a true freshman, you can already see the intangibles. When you're looking at a running back, you want vision, but you want to be able to cut on a dime too. Look at the vision here as he gets outside and then makes one cut right there to set up a block and get about 10 extra yards.
That was Ty Clary clearing the way for him. Clary got inserted with the ones in practice Tuesday afternoon. Brett Bielema told us, I want to see how he handles the expectations of being a starter. Fresh out of Fayetteville High School. Hayden again. Little stutter step. And he's able to pick up 10 on first down. Deline Dowse with the tackle. Cole?
I'll tell you who I'm watching on this drive, you guys, is tight end Austin Cantrell, 44. I look for nasty in an offensive lineman. You don't see it too often in tight ends, especially in today's football. Austin Cantrell gives you nasty on almost every play. Asked Bielema in practice, I said, Coach, seeing this kid up close, if you're going to get in a bar fight, you had one guy on your team on your side, I'm just guessing 44 would be at the top of your list. He turned to me quick and said, no doubt.
You might need him as a personal protector on that sideline. A reach for the goal line and in. Touchdown for Chase Hayden. The freshman's got his first score of his career.
Running through 2 tacklers there at a late stretch. It's going to be close, man. Boy, it almost looks like it might just be a hair short, but what an effort. Running through 2 guys.
All he's got to do is break the plane and the very front of that goal line. Ball came loose a little bit as he was trying to stretch for it. Before, it looked like it was before his knees were down.
See if they take a look.
Yep, they're taking a look, all right.
If we had a look just down the pylon, we might be able to see it. It might be tough there. Did call it a touchdown on the field, so there's got to be
indisputable,
something that shows that it really did.
Steve Landis is our replay official, collaborative replay health from back in Birmingham. And this play is under review.
It's a touchdown. That play is under review.
8:46 to go in the third. Gives us a chance to talk a little bit about Chase Hayden. You mentioned him being a basketball player growing up. Coming out of St. George's School in Memphis, he was Mr. Football as a junior. He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Tennessee as both a junior and a senior.
I said a guy that very realistically, as Dan Eno said, probably could have played basketball in college as well.
They credit a lot of his agility to being on the basketball court. And he's got some history within this offense. They ran out of the I formation early in his high school career. Take another look. And a look down that line of scrimmage, and if the ball broke the plane.
I don't think it did, Tom. That one looks a little more like it does, but you know, when the ball comes down, is it coming straight down and falling short? Bringing it back into him a little bit.
It must be indisputable to take the points off the board, ruled a touchdown on the field.
This is probably the best look here.
You know, I think his best case at a touchdown is a fumble and a recovery for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That ball kind of came loose at the end.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
unable to find indisputable video evidence, and took a little bit of some time, but I feel like we're going to see a lot more of those from Chase Hayden, his first career touchdown. Caps a 7-play, 56-yard drive. Point after is good. And Arkansas is out to a 35-0 lead. Here is War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. Hogs fans seeing a lot of good from their team tonight.
SEC opening night is brought to you by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
We kick off the 85th season of Southeastern Conference football, and the Razorbacks in control here tonight in Little Rock. They've played some incredible games in the history of this stadium. Now they come here once a year, got one more year left on the contract, and that is supposed to be a conference game next season. Here tonight, it's FAMU out of the MEAC, and it's a 35-0 Razorback lead. Connor Lippert waiting to put it in the air. McKinley will watch it go over his head. Arkansas seems to be fairly healthy, but Cole Ryan Poley has been out of the game. What do you got?
Tom, he left and went to the locker room just before halftime. Will not re-enter this game with a pectoral injury. So the junior corner has seen his last action against Florida A&M.
This is when the injury occurred. The good news in that scenario is Brett Bielema at practice this week was raving about some of his young defensive backs. Cameron Curl, you see, the freshman from Skokie, Oklahoma, and Chavin Callaway, who may see some more playing time tonight as well.
Be a big loss, though. Pulley's probably their best guy in coverage by far. Cameron Curl right in behind him. He's a 6'1", big frame, long body on the outside.
Vincent Jeffries gets rid of it to the near side. And FAMU picks up 8. Brandon Norwood with the catch.
Right now, FAMU's got to realize that regardless of the score, create positive plays. These are great teaching moments, evaluating, distributing the ball if you're Vincent Jeffries, making good decisions. A lot you can build off of by putting tape together and putting drives together here regardless of the score.
They had 415 yards of offense on 80 plays last week against Texas Southern. Taj Tolbert with the carry. Kevin Richardson the tackle for Arkansas. Best field position of the night for Alex Wood. And his Rattlers are at the 36-yard line. They have yet to throw it on first down until now, and it is incomplete. Marcus Williams, the intended receiver, sophomore out of Miami's Northwestern High School.
Second time there, Jeffries has really struggled catching the ball, no laces, and getting it out quick to the perimeter. Second time he's put it about at the kneecaps of the wide receiver.
Triple header of action coming your way this weekend. We'll be on the Plains for Jarrett Stidham's debut as Auburn's quarterback, the Baylor transfer. Great chat with the Georgia Southern coaching staff today as they look to return to their roots and get that option offense rolling. On 2nd and 10, they fake the sweep, and he will dump it off incomplete.
It's actually a great play there. Now you're watching on TV like, wow, what's going on? It's something you can build off of. There wasn't a play there. Jeffries has played a lot of football, whether it's junior college or not. He's had reps. That's the thing you do as a quarterback there. You bounce it at the feet of the defender. You got a screen on, trying to work it to the right side. Defender's there, put it in the dirt. Live to play another down. Good decision there by an experienced quarterback.
That was my favorite quote from Waterboy.
There we go.
Deep completion into Razorbacks territory. It's Brandon Norwood. 31. Pardon me, a 23-yard gain.
That's what we've been missing. We haven't really seen FAMU push the ball downfield. Good blocking up front, a great pocket, and Jeffries is able to deliver a really a good ball placement on the outside to Norwood. Caught a touchdown last week. Obviously been a little quiet tonight. Trying to get him involved any way they can.
More of the tempo that they want to run at as well. Tolliver spins his way out of trouble and then runs into a couple of home jerseys. Gain of 4. DeAndre Coley and Kevin Richardson in on the tackle. Second and 6 now for FAMU. Little pump and go. And too much air underneath it. One of the differences between the two quarterbacks, Ryan Stanley and Vincent Jeffries, we were told this week by head coach Alex Wood, is they really like Jeffries' accuracy on the deep ball.
Yeah, also able to put a little more touch on the ball. Something that experienced quarterbacks are able to do. Manipulate the trajectory of the football is difficult to do. When you got a big arm, you want to rip it in there. Jeffries has the ability to place it on the outside, over the outside shoulder. A little out of bounds on that one, but didn't really have anything there anyway.
3rd and 6 for the first-time starter, Jeffries. Incomplete. Norwood got his hands on it, but couldn't bring it in. And so 4th down, and they will keep the offense on the field, it seems. They were 3 of 5 on 4th downs last week. Special teams have been an issue. The kicking game has been an issue for Coach Wood this season. You're down 35-0. Why punt it away?
Cameron Curl in on that last play there. You're seeing on the Arkansas side a lot of young guys in without experience. A great opportunity to get depth in a game-like environment.
A lot of second stringers out there, including Hayden Henry and one defensive end position. Younger brother of the tight end Hunter. And the ball is complete. FAMU able to pick up the first down to Kareem Smith. It's a gain of 11. Josh Liddell with the coverage for Arkansas.
Tom, really impressed with the offensive line here. Great pocket. Bringing a little pressure on the outside. Running back is able to cut down. Linebacker, clean pocket for Jeffries. He can deliver. You give him time. This undersized offensive line is hanging in there.
10th play of the drive. Jeffries will take off. Eludes one man. Little stiff arm to find the edge. And we got a flag on the back end of the play. Dejon Harris was in on the tackle. And Obinna Nwankwo is an offensive lineman who's standing right next to the flag. And it looks like that penalty was incurred after the ball had already passed it.
Holding on the offense, number 7. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Nwankwo was thrown into the fire last year due to injuries. Sophomore from Miramar, Florida. Cole, I know it's never fun as an offensive lineman when you get flagged for holding, but how frustrating is it when you realize that the play was already past you?
Yeah, that's one that you'll go back in the film room, Tom, and really dislike yourself for, honestly. And you're just trying to make a play. It's very difficult with a mobile quarterback for offensive linemen to have a true awareness of where he is with the football. You're just trying to win your one-on-one, or if you got a double team, you're just trying to win that individual block. Very frustrating.
Took him down after Jeffries had already passed him. And on the crossing route, incomplete.
Tom McCall, that's something you'll learn. He's a sophomore, thrown into the fire last year. That's why these reps are so valuable on both sides of the ball. FAMU's got a long season ahead of them. They need experience on the offensive front. Arkansas on the other side needs to gain depth and build up experience on their 2 and 3 deep for this 3-4 scheme.
Jeffries on the run. Chavis Murphy incomplete.
Jordan, if you're a quarterback struggling with accuracy in a game, Plays like that, sprint outs, rollouts, smoke protection, things like that. Does that help you build your accuracy inside of a game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a quarterback, the more you can get the noise and the distraction of defensive line and linebackers out of your face, the more you can see the receiver and just the DB that you're throwing to, I think the more accurate you're going to be. But throwing on the run creates its own problems if you're not used to doing it. The mechanics of it very different than in the pocket.
He stays in the pocket there and fires it to the outside, needing 20 for the first down. Smith picks up 8. Yeah, so there's the balance, right? There's the rub. We can get you out of the pocket, get you away from pressure, but the mechanics are going to be changed. It's going to be a lot harder to hit a moving target while you're moving.
And Jeffries has been great in the pocket. You've seen just on this drive delivering a few very accurate balls. When you're on the run, the thing you got to think about, you got to bring your shoulders with you. You got to bring your left shoulder if you're a right-handed quarterback to the target to increase your accuracy, throw more with your body, less relying on all arm. Some of those things that reps get you better at. He hasn't had a ton of them. He wasn't the starter coming into this game.
They converted a 4th and 6 earlier on this drive. Now 4th down and 13. And ruled incomplete. Brandon Norwood thought he got his hands underneath it. Short hopped it, and he's not happy. So Arkansas will take over on downs. It's a 13-play drive that the Razorbacks defense bends but doesn't break. 4:54 to go in the third quarter on SEC opening night. All Hogs. State 14-13. I can take ESPN anywhere. I got it right up here in the booth with us tonight. You can download the ESPN app to stream ESPN right now. This game, the Ohio State game, all the games this weekend, whether it's SEC Network, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, ESPNU, everything live and on demand, all on the ESPN app. Go download it now. Go to ESPN.com/app. Ohio State just went into Indiana territory. That might be biggest upset of the weekend if the Hoosiers can hang on in Bloomington. Austin Allen trips over his feet and takes it down. I was just getting ready to ask you, we got under 5 to go in the third quarter. How important is it, you talk reps for Austin Allen to stay in this game with the score being what it is? They've got 2 capable young backups. I know they want to get some experience too.
And they will. I imagine when the fourth quarter comes, those young guys could get some run here. As you see, this is what I was talking about. Remember the left foot back? Ragnow steps back just a little bit, getting blown up right onto Allen's left foot. That'll happen. But with a good drive here, I think this may be the last we see of Austin Allen. Starters all still in for Arkansas.
He took some hits last year, that's for sure. LSU knocked him down 18 times. Thanks to Cole going back and doing the film work. We know that Alabama hit him 28 times.
Arkansas. That's their first charge timeout of the half.
2nd and 14. We've got a timeout here in Little Rock. A 10-hour bus ride and you're down 35. 4:07 to go, third quarter. Primarily starters still in the game for Arkansas, including quarterback Austin Allen. He's thrown a touchdown and he's thrown a pick. Johnson at fullback. He is leading the way. Gets another key block, and there's a big-time run by T.J. Hammonds, a sophomore from right here in Little Rock. It's a pickup of 12, the product of Joe T. Robinson High School.
A former receiver. Want to get the ball in his hands, a guy that Eno said we see get some touches today, but coming back to the run, this is lead ISO. Hayden Johnson leading the way. This is something the teams are going to have to start scheming against because they've been very, very successful tonight. I know it's not the SEC, but.
So 3rd and 2. There's that right foot back out of the shotgun. Allen complete. to Jonathan Nance, a pickup of 7.
With the youth at receiver, see a guy like Jonathan Nance, a junior college transfer, actually the teammate of Brandon Martin, another junior college transfer who was the #1 rated receiver in the nation for junior college. Nance, the #9 rated receiver. Got to get guys with experience with touches. That's why this late drive is important. Get these receivers some action with Allen in live reps.
Here's Nance again. Started his career as a defensive back at Southern Miss, and he's able to pick up a first down. I knew that Jonathan Nance was going to get some touches when I heard Austin Allen say, you know what, I'd compare him to Drew Morgan. He gets good leverage. He can get open against any type of coverage. If your quarterback thinks you're comparable to Drew Morgan, you're going to get the ball.
Guy that led the team for a couple years. Pretty high praise for a junior college guy just coming in without any catches previously, but created a lot of chemistry. Like I said, these receivers, without Jared Cornelius being full-time this spring and summer, a lot of guys got a chance to get looks.
Out of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, trying to find the edge. David Williams gets bottled up behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe got back to it. Demontre Moore was able to track him down. So you think this is the last possession for Austin Allen?
Possibly. But really, we talked earlier about Arkansas wanting to figure out the right
side of this offensive line. I think they have found the combination that they want. With Johnny Gibson, a former walk-on, now at right tackle, Ty Clary, a guy that Bielema said he was going to put the cleats to or the screws to and wanted to see him perform at right guard. The confusion there is two guys were in the same spot.
Turns into a 4-yard gain for Jared Barnes. Cole Kelly, the second-year freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana. No helmet yet, still on the headset. He's your backup quarterback along with Ty Story. Here comes pressure. Allen lets it go, complete inside the 20. It's Barnes again. Consecutive catches for Jared Barnes. That one goes for 26.
I mean, on one hand, you want to be excited about a big play to another inexperienced receiver. On the other hand, you look at the protection and whether guys aren't getting open soon enough or Allen's holding on the ball too long. This comes down to protection from the backs. David Williams trying to do his best there. They've been better. Running backs have been a lot better today, but there is some issues up front that have to be solved with the offensive line IDing the front, knowing where pressure is coming from, and the backs being consistent in picking up that pressure late.
Longest play of the night for either side. Play clock at 1. Looking for the screen. Here's Williams. Popped inside the 5, and Arkansas will be looking at a 1st and goal.
Thing of beauty watching Arkansas run these screens. When you have a run game as good as they do and a scheme that is consistent as they have, you can marry it up with play action, with screens. Really starts with the hat level of the offensive line and then ends with the quarterback extending the ball, really selling the run. You can tell how much they rep that week in and week out.
Fullback is Hayden Johnson. David Williams behind him. Williams sneaks through, and he is down just outside the goal line. And the third quarter will end with Arkansas knocking on the door after another nice carry by David Williams, who already has 1 touchdown tonight. Williams couldn't get the ball over, and so when we return to start the 4th quarter of play on SEC opening night, it'll be Arkansas just outside the goal line, already up 35.
Loose, picked up by the Hogs, and they get a defensive score. Andre Tolliver, the senior.
Hogs playing like men tonight. It's a 35-0 lead, and they've got a 2nd and goal from inside the 1. David Williams in the eye behind Hayden Johnson. Here's Williams straight ahead, and he's in for his 2nd score of the night. Playing time was tough to come by for David Williams at South Carolina under Will Muschamp. Early in the season, he had 15 carries against UMass and not much else. Five touchdowns for his career as a Gamecock. He already has 2 in his first game as a Razorback. Paul Hedlund punches through the point after. 42-0 lead for Arkansas. Well, we lost a key Razorback, not just for the University of Arkansas, this great state, but also the SEC. Frank Broyles was a Southeastern Conference Player of the Year when he was at Georgia Tech back in 1944. That was just his first step in leaving a big mark on this conference. As the Arkansas head coach, they won the 1964 National Championship, taking down Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl. And then the Director of Athletics at Arkansas, 43 national championships from 1973 to 2007. Frank Broyles passed away this summer and honored here tonight by the Arkansas Marching Band as they spelled out his name. He coached here from 1958 to 1976, the AD from 76 to 2007. 33.5 years as the athletic director and spearheaded their move into the SEC. Broyles will be missed by all. One of his assistant coaches was Hayden Fry, who was Brett Bielema's head coach at the University of Iowa. And when Brett heard that Frank Broyles needed some visits late, he was on his way to the Broyles house and called up his former coach. And he said Hayden Fry just lit up and told story after story. And Brett Bielema realized that at that point that a lot of the life lessons he learned from Hayden Fry had been handed down from Frank Broyles. And was proud that he's part of that Frank Broyles coaching tree, even if it's not a direct straight line.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see Bielema say, you know, I didn't really know the guy before I got to Arkansas, but you start to realize how interconnected everybody is, especially when it comes to coaches. Everybody comes from a tree or a philosophy, and he said when he got here, he started to realize how much he was cut from the same cloth as Broyles. So pretty cool for him to come here and understand that he's from that alignment, that tree, that philosophy, protecting the ball, running the football.
And that is an amazing coaching tree for Frank Broyles, not just assistants, but also his players. Ken Hatfield, a longtime head coach at Rice, was on that national championship team. So was Jimmy Johnson. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. There was a lot of great football minds in that room. 1964 national champions. There's Jerry Jones on the left, Jimmy Johnson up in the top right. Johnny Majors won a national title with Pitt and coached in this league with Tennessee. And Ken Hatfield, special teams superstar, would go on to a good college coaching career as well, and so many other business. That's one of the things Bielema talked about. He's like, listen, we know about the football players and the coaches that came out of there, but great business leaders and great men and fathers and husbands that Frank Broyles coached. And his time tutoring players and coaches is why we have the Frank Broyles Award that goes to the top assistant coach in all of college football every year.
It really started the movement or the awareness of facilities, the importance of recruiting and bringing kids on campus to walk them around the facilities and see what they're going to experience. Did so much for this game.
The game of college football, including a long time as the #1 analyst for ABC, working alongside Keith Jackson. 3rd and 2. He did that while he was the athletic director here at Arkansas. He traveled from Northwest Arkansas to the national game of the week on ABC. And had a chance to talk with Keith Jackson on the phone last week. And he recalled so many great stories and laughs and the time that they had, two Georgia kids calling college football for ABC. And he said it never failed. We'd be doing a Big Ten game somewhere, and the letters would pour into the ABC offices. How do you dare have these two Georgia boys calling a Big Ten game with their southern drawl? Keith said, sometimes I had to tap Frank on the elbow and say, can you explain exactly what you just said? Does your mother know what you're saying by using that drawl in all your country lines? FAMU will punt it away. They take a short hop. Great improvisation. And FAMU's going to pick up a first down on a tuck and run by Chris Fadol. It figures he would have some speed. His dad was on the 1972 Lebanese Olympic track and field team. And Fadol was able to pull the ball back and take off in a dead sprint.
Just gave me a whoop-de-doo. Showed it like he was about to kick it and took off. I mean, someone upstairs was doing their homework because they told everybody to freeze. Going to let the end guy free rush. He's 70, doesn't even step out. Whoop! Gone.
Here's what we're going to do. Let's shorten the snap. Don't block the guy from the edge, and we'll have a first down. Gain of 5. Tevin Spells, the senior from Delray Beach, Florida, with his first carry. Fadol's run was the longest play of the night for FAMU, 26-yard run.
He'll be getting a lot more love when they watch that on film this week, too.
Crawling is Spells, and he's able to pick up first down with a gain of 4. All right, now this Arkansas defense in a spot here with a fresh set of downs for the Rattlers, where if they want to keep the shutout intact, going to need to come up with some stops here. On first down, incomplete. Trying to find Norwood.
Also a young rotation in there, especially up front, Tom. Dylan Hayes is now in at nose guard, a guy that coaches said is like a Tasmanian devil back there. He's got a motor. He's a big kid at 6'3", just under 300. From here in Little Rock, I'm sure he's got family here watching. Important to continue to create depth. So you're seeing these guys out here getting live reps in the heat of battle. That's what creates depth. Important going into the SEC to have guys with experience in your 2-3 deep.
At a Little Rock Christian Academy, great pressure up front. And Briston Guidry in there to take down the ball carrier. It's a loss of 2 as Tevin Spells gets taken down.
Gotta block. Gotta block somebody. Can't let a free rusher run at your running back. Someone missed there up front for FAMU.
FAMU just 2 for 13 on third downs tonight. Looking for a screen, nothing there. Jeffries. Whoa, he got leveled. Walker just lowered the boom on him. Redshirt freshman out of Moultrie, Georgia. That was very close to being targeted.
Yeah, he'll be getting a talking to from his coaches, just being careful for his protection as well as for the runner's protection. Don't lower the crown of your helmet there right at impact. Got to keep your eyes up to see what you're hitting is what they'll tell him.
They'll go for it on fourth down again. They've converted 2 of 3. Great hands on the diving grab made by Norwood, and he's going to be just short of the marker. We'll see. They'll bring out the sticks, it seems. See if that's good enough. Norwood pleads his case.
A really good ball on the outside. Looked like you ran the route through the sticks as well. Just a simple comeback on the outside. No matter the depth on that, you're running 3 yards past the sticks. So when you come down your stem, You end up with a first down. We'll see how close it ends up being here. Another good ball from Jeffries, though. I'll tell you, he's been accurate when he's in the pocket.
And they get it. Hustle awarded the chain gang for coming all the way across. And if Arkansas wants to keep this shutout intact, they're going to have to come up with another stop.
I'll tell you, Tom, I know Alex Wood stated very specifically that Ryan Stanley was the #1 and Vincent Jeffries was the #2. They'd have some packages, but sure it looks like Vincent Jeffries has played his way into really being in the conversation for a starter moving forward, whether Stanley's healthy with that ankle injury or not.
Well, they'll have some time to get Stanley healthy, off next week, and then they go to Tennessee State. Here's Spells again. Let's check in with Cole.
Tom, I tell you, I'm down here about 5 or 6 yards away from Paul Rhodes, and you would think that they're playing for an SEC championship right now. This guy, as intense as he was, first quarter, second quarter, yelling at his guys, shot right now, trying to warn the defense he thinks they're going to take a shot towards the end zone. He was yelling at the referees that he wanted a measurement on that 4th down play. It's really cool to see Coach Rhodes still out here coaching these guys up as intense as he is.
First year as the defensive coordinator, was the defensive backs coach last year. They installed the 3-4 when he was the head coach at Iowa State, so he's been through this process before. Jeffries changed of direction, and he lost his footing. Turf Monster got him. May have gotten in if not for that.
Bielema said of Rhodes, he has the innate ability to raise his voice but not yell at you. Really communicates well with his defensive players. And like I said about Jeffries, I like what he brings to the table for FAMU. He's been accurate passing the football, especially in the pocket. They can work on getting him outside the pocket, a little more accuracy, better fundamentals on the run, but he's played well.
13th play of the drive. 1st and goal for the Rattlers. Caught and smothered. Kareem Smith brought down for a gain of 2. Rattlers had a 13-play drive that ended with nothing earlier this half. This will be the 14th play of this drive.
Keep your eyes down here on the bottom of the screen. Chavis Murphy.
Play action, Murphy dragging, and Jeffries has to change direction again. The stiff arm floats it. Incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd and goal. Jonathan Marshall was the one that forced him down, had Jeffries around the knees.
He was looking for Chavis Murphy, a 6'6", 210-pound freshman. Looks like a basketball player, but they say he isn't. He's a football player, and it looks like Jeffries was looking towards the back of the end zone there to see if Murphy was crossing. Wouldn't be surprised at some point, though, now in the red zone, you throw a jump ball to a guy like that.
42-0 Arkansas. Timeout taken by Florida A&M. They'll talk about their best scoring opportunity of the night. Let's see some great quarterbacks take the field for our triple header action on Saturday, starting with Drew Lock and Mizzou, taking on Missouri State. And Nick Fitzgerald and Mississippi State at 4 o'clock, hosting Charleston Southern in Stark Vegas. And Jarrett Stidham makes his Auburn debut for the 12th ranked Tigers against Georgia Southern. We'll be there for SEC Saturday night. Fitzgerald led the SEC in total yards last year. I know you and Cole think he's in for a big season this year.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State has a chance to surprise some people. It's because of his dual threat ability and his ability to push the ball downfield.
Locke was 2nd in the league in passing yards. Missouri offense had a great season last year. Got a Little Rock guy at running back too. He's pretty good. Crockett. All games streaming live on the ESPN app. 3rd and goal for Florida A&M. 5-man route. Looking end zone. It is caught. Touchdown Florida A&M. Brandon Norwood, and the Razorbacks lose the shutout on that strike from Jeffries.
Great throw. Just a high-low curl combination or a dig combination with the stick route underneath. Easy read for the quarterback, high-low, and a very accurate throw on the outside to Norwood. Guy that keeps showing up showing up from the receiving spot for Jeffries there. Back-to-back games with scores.
That was a 15-play drive that covered 76 yards. One of the best plays of the night for Florida A&M was Chris Fadol taking the short hop, pulling the okey doke and taking off for 26 and a first down. It leads the Rattlers to a score here in SEC country as Vincent Jeffries finds Brandon Norwood. Look what you made me do. We got more drama coming. A big one, Florida State and Alabama Saturday night, 8 o'clock on ABC. Program comparison since 2001. Nick's won 3 national titles. His former coordinator has one of his own.
Talking about a coaching tree. That Saban coaching tree is making waves. Kirby now at Georgia, primed for a big year. Jimbo been very successful.
If you had that list of names and all of them in red underlined, that's a lot of good assistant coaches that come out of Nick Saban's tree.
Let's see what you did there.
Devin Warren past the 20 and gets spun around. Out to the 25-yard line. Cole Kelly will take over quarterback now for Arkansas. This dude is a hoss and a half. 6'7", 268 pounds from Lafayette, Louisiana. He's a redshirt freshman. Talking with Brett Bielema about him on the practice field the other day, he said, this dude will throw it through the window.
All the tools, all the intangibles that you want to see. Obviously young, got a lot of developing to do. Tonight, he is the number 2. But Bielema said very, very clearly, Ty Story, Cole Kelly, still in a competition. It could go either way, practice to practice. So valuable time here for Kelly to run this offense late in the game.
One of the ways Dan Enos helped his young quarterbacks back in spring ball, Kelly and Ty Story, is he had him using those earpieces in the radio transmitters that they use in NFL games. So as a quarterback comes to the line, he can walk through his progression with him pre-snap. How helpful would that be?
I'd never heard of this, but if I ever am a coach, I'm doing it. Because what's so important as a quarterback is that you have a process. When you break the huddle, where do your eyes go? What are you thinking about? What leverage or safeties or progression are you going through before the play even starts? So if there's a coach in your ear that can walk you through that, get your reps with the right progression.
Where did your eyes go first when you were walking up to the line?
I always like to do it. A lot of times they say work high to low, so look at the safeties. I always thought the safeties can fool you. So my eyes always went to the D-line and the linebackers first to look at alignment to see if maybe possibly the safeties could be rolling or coming down. Then I'd ID the secondary, see the alignment of safeties. Are they 2 deep? Are they 1 deep? How deep are they? How far off the hash are they? And then obviously I'd come back down to protection, set the mic, make sure everything in front of me was protected. And then obviously the most important part is it may look one way pre-snap, it may look completely different post-snap, and that's what these young quarterbacks really got to catch up on.
So Cole Kelly looking at that FAMU defense, has time to stand tall, and he gets rocked, trying to wrestle the ball away from him, and the big fella is able to take Jules Dorneville for a ride. It's a loss of 7. Now, those wireless transmitters aren't legal in college ball right now, but Brett Bielema has been on the rules committee. He said, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if in years to come, very soon, that rule comes down to the college game. You could do one in the offense with the quarterback. You could do one defensively, your middle linebacker or safety, who's ever making those calls.
Yeah, and so much time, this is what Eno said, so much time is wasted making these signals and talking about the semantics of how to get the play in. Valuable time that could be getting lined up, getting in formation, getting the play run. I'm all in favor for it.
On 2nd and 18, Kelly fires, incomplete. I think going back to your point, one of the things that Enos talked about was the time that they spend in the meeting room, not going over the playbook, not going over the nuances and finer points, but just memorizing the signals and signs that you have to change again the next week. Maybe not all of them. That's a lot of wasted time.
I found it kind of fun to sit there and make up signals, but it is wasted time. You're not getting better as a quarterback during that time, and it's valuable time because you have to do it, but it's time that could be spent elsewhere, and I don't think there's really a downside to having the quarterbacks in college mic'd up. Obviously, it's still cut off at a certain time on the play clock. You're not walking them through the play. It's an easier way to relay the play to the quarterback quicker, more succinctly.
Pressure coming, and he's able to dump it off. David Williams, first down, Arkansas! And Williams takes it all the way out for a 37-yard gain.
What a night he's having, huh? Defense there, brought double A gap. I mean, that's moxie right there. A young quarterback standing in there, delivering the ball under pressure. Brought cross dogs, double A gap. That's the perfect call to have on when you got blitzers. Let's throw a screen. It's all on the quarterback to get the ball out of your hands. He does there for a big play.
9 touches and 71 yards with a couple of touchdowns for Williams. And Williams, or pardon me, they give it up to the freshman Hammonds, a sophomore Hammonds. We're talking about using those wireless radio transmitters for quarterbacks to help these young quarterbacks identify defenses. Well, they did it a little bit differently in fall camp. Kurt Anderson, the offensive line coach, put one of those in his right tackle's helmet. That's Brian Wallace, and he said Anderson worked with him to identify those same things that an offensive lineman needs to be able to see. Brett Bielema's like, dude, I've never heard of it before, but it makes perfect sense because as he's coming to the line, his offensive line coach can make sure he's keying on the right things. And, of course, it's up to him to execute. But what a great teaching opportunity throughout fall camp. Hayden inside the 10. Cole, how helpful would that be as an offensive lineman?
So helpful. I think it's very difficult for an offensive lineman, especially a center who's calling the plays, calling the looks, calling the defenses, making checks, to always be on the same page with your quarterback. That takes seasons, not a couple of practices, not one fall practice, not a couple of game weeks. It takes years for that continuity to truly develop. And when you can share that communication openly in practice, I just think that takes it one step further for you to be on the same page a little bit faster.
They split Hammonds out. They put him in the slot. And here he comes in motion. They give it to him on the jet sweep. Somehow he shakes his way past about 4 different rattlers, and that'll set up 2nd and goal.
And you know what it does more than anything, Cole and Tom, is it really shortens the learning curve. Reps are wasted if the offensive lineman walks up and doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He does the wrong thing, that's a wasted rep. You're shortening or eliminating the amount of times that can happen. Yeah, you're walking him through it, but you're teaching his process mentally, making sure he knows what he's doing, so physically he can actually get reps that are beneficial. And obviously, the more and more you do that, the more and more the coach is walking it through, obviously, hopefully the less you do that. And the more he's out there playing quicker, thinking less.
They go back to the I formation. Play action, looking for the fullback on the run. Wow! Cole Kelly just lowered his shoulder and put a dude on his backside. That is 268 pounds of Louisiana steam coming at you.
Tell you what, I'm getting out of his way if he's running the football.
Mac Green is outweighed by 68 pounds by the quarterback. And he just got Mac trucked.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Well, of course you get flagged for that because Cole Kelly's as big as 2 men. Watch this hit that he lays on Mac Green.
His first game time, you think he's sliding or getting out of bounds? Not a chance. Whew. I mean, he delivered it. He didn't just brace for it. You saw that arm finish through at the end. Hello.
2nd and goal, backed up now after the penalty. Chase Hayden. Able to pick up 6. Hayden's having a monster night. 121 yards tonight, 120 officially on 14 carries, averaging better than 8.5 yards a carry. For the freshman from Memphis.
Boy, he's explosive. Each one of these backs brings something a little bit different. Whaley's great north and south, gets skinny in the hole. Williams is obviously just solid in protection. He's thick, he's physical. Hayden's explosive. We got 3 really good backs moving into the season here.
Play action. And they dump it off to the tight end, Cheyenne O'Grady, and he's in. Another Arkansas touchdown. First touchdown pass for Cole Kelly. And his second of the career of O'Grady.
Another screen dialed up for Enos. Loves these ones to the tight end. You don't see this much. The tight end on the end of the line of scrimmage. See a play action fake.
It was interesting talking to Dan Enos about all the screen game. He said, I don't like running screens in practice against our #1 defense. Sometimes late in the practice, late in camp, they're not as aggressive as you want the defense to be against screens. FAMU was aggressive there. They get in the backfield, and Cole Kelly makes some pay with his first career touchdown pass, and the big fella happy about that one. SEC Nation is back, and they'll be live Saturday 9 Eastern from Arlington, Texas. Laura, Marcus, Paul, and Lauren. They got a couple of special guests dropping by. They'll feed Les Miles some grass, and the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, will probably be wearing a visor. They'll be at Lot 3 outside AT&T Stadium on Saturday morning. You can join that fantastic group at Lot 3 at AT&T Stadium. It's ACC Nation presented by AT&T right here on the SEC Network. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. Pretty big one that night from Jerry World, huh?
Whew. Dallas, my hometown. We're going to be somewhere else, though.
Yeah, no, we'll be on the plains. Could Florida win that game without 10 dudes?
I mean, they're making it really, really tough on themselves. Michigan still got a quarterback competition. I think we're going to see both guys play.
Oh, did Michigan release its roster?
Finally, I believe they did.
And the whole time, it was tucked into Harbaugh's khaki pants. That kickoff will go out of bounds. Special teams mistake for Arkansas. 2:20 to go here on SEC opening night on this Thursday night in Little Rock. FAMU trailing. They've lost 14 consecutive September games. They're going to have to wait a couple more weeks to try to end that skid when they go to Tennessee State.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
2:20 to go. We whistle our way to the fourth quarter. Nobody's watching. Tonight, the SEC Now team follows our game with an in-depth recap. No one covers the SEC like we do. It's our job. You can also see it streaming live on the ESPN app. Glad to know some folks on Twitter still with us here late tonight. 42-point game. 2:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Incomplete. Taj Tolbert is in the game at quarterback for FAMU. Freshman from Sugar Hill, Georgia.
Big body guy. Passes the eye test. 6'5", 220. Like I said, these games at the end of the game for both Arkansas and FAMU is about getting experience from your young guys. Game reps. Can't replace those.
On 2nd and 10. Another carry for Zende Ray. He's had a busy night tonight. Maybe the first time he's heard his name called. It's a 49-7 Arkansas lead. Ohio State trying to pull away from Indiana 35-21 late in the third quarter in Bloomington. You know, we don't have, I don't think we have the depth of games like we had last year for opening weekend. But we've never had the #1 team in the AP poll open against a top 3 opponent. And that's what we'll get with Florida State and Alabama from the new dome downtown Atlanta on Saturday night.
It's going to be a big one.
Oh, it's going to be a huge one.
I think it's going to be.
I got that a one-possession game.
I absolutely do too. I think it's going to be very competitive. I even said, hey, Alabama might be in a little trouble. Not trouble, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. Alabama's reloading on defense. New offensive coordinator Brian Dable. Florida State powerful as always and dangerous.
There's a great piece on ESPN.com written by Ryan McGee about the West Virginia background for both Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. Cole, how do you see that one going?
I think that's a line of scrimmage game, boys. You look at Alabama's retooled offensive line. Jonah Williams going from right tackle to left tackle. New side of the right offensive line, Jedrick Willis, freshman, going to start at right tackle.
On the kicking team, number 43, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Going up against what I think is the top 5 defensive line in college football. Derek Nottie is an elite nose guard. Christmas at defensive tackle. Burns and Sweat at defensive end / outside linebacker. They'll have their hands full there. And if they can't get the run game going, I think it goes back into the quarterback. And on the flip side of that, Florida State's offensive line was atrocious a year ago. But this is a completely retooled Alabama defensive line that doesn't have a lot of guys that have proven themselves.
What do you really think? 232 days since Bama was on the field. Another good kick from Fadul, and that won't be down inside the 15-yard line. 54-yard punt.
He had a busy night.
Yeah, he did.
We saw a replay of that punt, and actually, we're talking about it up here. I don't think it was called.
Oh no! It wasn't.
He outlaid the guy, and then was thinking, I need to kick it again, and then he saw, hey, I got to see green grass. Let's go.
A clean snap, and he gets the kickoff just fine.
Absolutely.
Well, this will back up Arkansas a little bit with 1:21 to go, and we get Ty Storey in the game for the first time. But Bielema said Ty Storey was ahead of Cole Kelly early in camp. He is reliable, the sophomore from Charleston, Arkansas. He's going to make all the right calls. He's going to run the play the right way. And that includes victory formation.
Yeah, not as physically gifted as Cole Kelly is, but a guy that does all the right things. That's hard to replace. People talk down on game managers. If you can manage the game, you're doing something right. So both those guys still in a competition will continue on. Hopefully neither of them see the field with Austin Allen staying upright.
Triple header action on Saturday, starting with Missouri State and Mizzou. We'll be on the plains for Auburn and Georgia Southern. Our boys from SEC Now waiting to recap this big night of SEC football for Brett Bielema's Razorbacks. His 5th year at Wisconsin, he took the Badgers back to the Rose Bowl, starting his 5th season at Arkansas, and he opens with a big win. Alex Wood, like Bielema, a former Hawkeye at Iowa. And now Brett Bielema runs his record to 41-4 against non-conference opponents during the regular season. 11 years as the head coach. The new dad opens fatherhood as a head coach with a victory. It's a 49-7 victory. What was the biggest bright spot in your mind for Arkansas tonight?
I think the biggest bright spot was the depth at running back. Devwah Whaley with a big night, Chase Hayden with a big night, David Williams with a big night. They have a stable of running backs. The questions are going to be up front with the offensive line and the run game. Look good, pass protection tough.
Cole standing by with Brett Bielema.
Coach Bielema, solid win to open the season. Your thoughts on the opener?
Well, a lot of good things happened for us to learn. First half, a little bumpy. It had a lot of new players, especially on offense, that were in critical roles. So to get them some valuable experience, hit a couple bumps in the road was good. I thought our quarterback, did some really good things to get that first half going. Really proud of our defense. They scored against our 2s there, but for our 1s, they played pretty efficiently the whole game.
I know you have to be happy with the running back production that you saw today.
Yeah, I've been excited about those guys. I think obviously Devwah is a guy that's proven it already. David Williams, you can see he's got athleticism, and Chase Hayden's got some skills, and then TJ Hammond really had missed about 2 weeks. He just started practicing a couple days ago to get him in the mix is good.
You've had some fun descriptions in the past describing offensive line in the running game. I'd like to know how you would describe your quarterback, Cole Kelly, lowering the boom over on the near sideline.
He's a big boy. He's 6'7" and 270 pounds of love. You can see the people react. He's kind of got that magnetic personality, and I think he completed 2 passes, both screen passes, but he's going to brag on that one for all the time. But it was good to get him reps and that 2-0 line in there.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Whoop pig.
All right, so he's 1-0 as a dad now. Daughter Briella, brand new to this world. Wife Jen missed the game for the first time in 6 years. She's back home with their gorgeous daughter, and a pretty win tonight for Arkansas. They get it done on the ground with 236 rushing yards. A touchdown late against the Subs, but otherwise this one all hogs. 49-7 is the final. We got some guys who know football ready to talk about it. Chris Doering, Matt Stinchcomb, and Peter Burns to break this one down. A 49-7 Arkansas finale. So long for now from Little Rock.